emergency measures to alleviate overcrowding in prisons overwhelmed by those sentenced for participating in or inciting riots across England and Northern Ireland earlier this month.
Under Operation Early Dawn, defendants in Northern England who have been arrested but not yet appeared in court will be held in police station cells until a prison space becomes available.
The United States and South Korea commenced a significant joint military exercise aimed at deterring escalating threats from North Korea, which criticized the drills as offensive and provocative. Tourists will soon have the opportunity to visit North Korea again.
According to two China-based tour operators, the reclusive nation is set to reopen one city to foreign tourists after nearly 5 years of border closures due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact.
Stanky ass.
Fact checking and correction.
You got stank ass. That's what you got. You got
some coffee in here, please.
You got no coffee. You got stank ass. No coffee, but no stank ass. Oh, that's gonna be the phrase of the day. It's stank ass.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
I like there's a phone in there.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
What are we having? We having issues? Can't be having issues. Oh. Can't be seeing that. Can't be seeing the Tudor bed in the drawer. No. Rush on the turntable. Good morning. It's hump day, you humps. Good morning, folks. It's good to see you again. Even though I don't see you, you see me. Or sometimes you hear me and don't see me. But that's a whole other story, I guess. A story for another day, not today. Because today is hump day, mental health hump day. So go hump a crazy person or something. It is Wednesday, which is hump day, which is why we call it hump day, because Wednesday is a good day for humping. It was actually weddings day. So you'd get married and then you'd go home and hump. That's how they came up with hump day. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. August is almost over. The months just fly by. Life just flies by. And before you know it, you die. And that's where we are today. The world is full of hope. Well, America is full of hope, especially people who've been stressed out for the last 9 years because the demon, that orange-coated demon that walks the earth. But people are watching the DNC not for more than just entertainment. I'm not watching it, but I'm watching them watch it on social media. I'm watching the reactions, and people are generally inspired and optimistic, and that's good to see. Because I just don't know how to be optimistic. I would like to be optimistic. I would like to be an optimist. I can't. You notice RFK Jr. Well, you wouldn't notice because you don't follow any of these people, or you don't get their stuff fed to you by Elon Musk. But I have noticed that RFQ had been quiet until, and still he's quiet. But yesterday, his running mate, Nicole Shanahan, kind of said the quiet part out loud on a podcast, a live stream. I don't even know who this doopy host is. It looks like that imbecile we had on the program, that Savage dude. Yeah, I'll call him an imbecile. That's right, Michael. I called you an imbecile. What are you going to do about it? It looks like him, but it's not him. Anyway, she said that if they can't get 5, which is talking a possibility. She's saying if they don't think they can get 5% of the popular vote, that means the government won't give them millions of dollars to keep their party alive. And they will bail out because they don't want to hurt Trump, which basically gives away the fact that RFQ's campaign was never about winning. He's talking about 5% of the vote here, and he's struggling to get 5% of the vote, and he knows it. And it was all about helping Donald Trump. Now, you can feel however you want to feel about that. I guarantee the people who gave money to his campaign and who supported him, who did not know that, feel like they've been used, abused, taken for a ride on this stuff. I wonder how many people did know that. People close to him, like Mike Binder, who I loosely call a friend, because Mike was like a de facto campaign manager for him. Now, he had to know this. He had to know that basically this was a ruse to help Trump get elected. And he's playing it off. Now, he's got egg on his face. And everybody does, because she went out there and told the truth about this. And all of a sudden, radio silence from all these people. They're not saying anything. I tempted to reach out to Binder and say, listen, you knew. Don't you have any remorse about this? I mean, you could have been a Trumper and been a Trumper, an honest Trumper, which we can, whatever. But to be a Trumper and hide behind a sneaky way to be a Trumper is pretty low. Pretty fucking low. And I would say that if it were a Democrat, I would say that if it were somebody else, anybody else. It's not just because this is Trump. This is because the way you go about winning elections is all about undermining, undercutting, sneaky ploys. The fact that the money came from Tim Mellon for RFQ. And he is also the money, he just put in another $50 million to Trump last month. So there should be no surprise to anybody. Certainly not a surprise to me, but kudos to Ron Kane and G.D. Fenderson, who both said RFQ would probably drop out by the end of August. It looks like he's got no choice now because his dumb running mate, who's put a lot of her own, millions of dollars of her own money into this thing, she went out and spilled the beans. I don't see how they could not drop out now. But they're not saying anything. They've gone deaf and mute, and it will be interesting to see where that goes. That's not funny, is it? No, it's not funny. Here's another thing that's not funny at all, but totally believable. And hopefully we'll have a few yucks here today. But PBS is reporting that Donald Trump has been in direct contact with Netanyahu, asking him not to sign a peace deal or not to make peace until after the election because it would hurt his chances of getting elected. And that is about as low as it goes. How many people have to die for this fucking loser? How many people have to die for him to stay, for his desperate plea to stay out of jail? Because that's what this is. And PBS is reporting it. I don't think anybody else has verified it yet. But you know what? I tend to, out of all the media sources, when you get your first reports, PBS does do diligence in researching the thing. Now, it's very believable, not only because of Trump and who he is personally, but it's believable because the Republican Party has done this before. Richard Nixon was on tape talking to South Vietnam in 1968, telling them not to make peace with North Vietnam until after the election because that would ruin his chances of getting elected. And LBJ had him on tape, but because he taped him illegally, he couldn't do anything about it. Ronald Reagan, as you know, basically delayed the release of the hostages in order to get himself elected. This is all fact. This is not, opinion or conjecture. We know these things to be true. So the Republican Party has a history of doing really terrible things like this. And how terrible this is can't be overstated. I mean, basically, he's saying, sure, go on killing people for me, thousands of people for me, to keep me out of jail. It's the most despicable and evil, downright evil thing that you could possibly do. And it's a clear violation of the Logan Act. Will he be charged with that? I'm so sick of him being skating on legal stuff. I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for any ramifications from that, any accountability from that. Lastly, before we get to today, we are going to have some discussions about mental health from two different people, two different angles on it. Now, Dr. Stephen Solomon is going to be our first guest, and he basically asked me if I wanted to narrow it down or just wing it. He's got a podcast about mental health. He's a psychiatrist, and I said, no, we'll just wing it. I like to wing it because mental health is too big an umbrella for us to be constrained. Now, the other day we had Dr. Lesk on, and we were just talking about schizophrenia, and that's a compelling enough subject, but mental health, it doesn't have to be that severe to be interesting. And in the second hour, we have Kaylee Weathers, who is the creator of Queerly Attached. Kind of like, I'm sorry, kind of like Stephen and Ron. Queerly Attached, a business that is dedicated to providing attachment trauma recovery resources for LGBTQ plus community. Attachment trauma recovery. I think that means like when your partner breaks up with you and you feel sad. I think that's what it means. We'll find out anyway in the second hour. So it should be a lively conversation today. I played a nursing home yesterday. I have one this evening and one tomorrow. Now, yesterday there were three elderly gentlemen sitting in wheelchairs, and they were talking about getting old, complaining about getting old. And one guy says he would do anything just to be able to pee. He said, I would love to be able to pee, not just like a drip and drab type of pee, but a good, powerful stream, like a young man's stream. But that doesn't happen anymore, and that's his major complaint. And the next guy said, well, I would just love to be able to take a really good shit for myself. But it doesn't work out that way. The third guy, he said, basically, I don't have those. 7:30 every morning, I wake up and I pee, and it's like Niagara Falls. It's like torrential rains. It's powerful. It's like a fire hose. And then at 7:35 every morning, I take a dump, and it's like a volcano. It's like Mount St. Helens erupting. It's all over the place. And the guy in the middle said, well, so you got nothing to complain about. And he said, the hell I don't. He said, I don't get out of bed until 9 a.m. So there was that. Anyway, we have a sponsor, and then we're going to meet the panel, and then we're going to meet Dr. Solomon. So,
with humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer. We're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves. working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel
look like a
West Coast,
giant.
and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Now. Get this party started now. Not bad. Not bad. The layout came out right. Ladies and gentlemen, in the room right now, we have our chief lingerie correspondent, Ron Kane, who is probably feeling refreshed this morning because he's been giving back his Tuesday evenings. And then we have Stephen, the Michigan comedian, Ortiz, who is just keeps changing his name every day. I don't know why. And my best friend for the last 37 years, Mr. AJ Benze. AJ. Hi, you're muted. AJ's muted, but he sounds better muted.
That's right. Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Are you afraid of wetting your bed in your sleep? Well, you can get over that fear with merchandise from MindDogTV.com. Shop at MindDogTV.com and feel good about wetting the bed again. MindDogTV.com. Enjoy the suffering.
Did we come out with a rubber bed sheet line or something?
I told you, you're the guy in charge of merchant. You're the head mercenary.
No, I actually have. I got to get on Ramon. Ramon does all that. I got to.
Well, I do have it on good authority that the water bottles can double as a urinal. And I have it on good authority. And if you could just make a gravy boat, you could probably cover the back end too.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
That is true.
I'm
Matt,
sure
with you peeing like Viagra Falls, though, how's a sheet gonna work?
Viagra Falls or Niagara Falls? Did you say Niagara? It sounded like you said Viagra Falls, which is not.
It stopped being Niagara Falls like 30 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay though, buddy.
All right,
little buddy. He sounds like the skipper, and you're Gilligan.
I will knock over his wheelchair and pee all over him.
He's like,
that's only gonna work if you're taking your incontinence medication.
Okay. All right, fine. Be that way.
I'm sorry, Stephen. That's a different woman behind you today. Usually there's like a wife behind you. Are you cheating on your wife with another woman?
With another wall? Oh. What is that? What is that?
That's a wand. That's the kind of thing you put in your
You got it.
A knife.
You got it.
Oh, so it looks like you're baking bread. Are you
somebody called me a serial killer, and I will not prove the internet wrong.
Oh, that was probably me.
The truth.
I'm pretty sure that was me who posted that.
Actually,
go ahead.
It sounds like they're into non-consensual sensual play, because it really looks like that guy is just pushing and bending Steven over with that knife to his neck.
Yeah, you're right.
I thought it was a cheek spreader.
Just for the record, I live in Westminster, Maryland. If you want to come get me, my name is G.D. Fenderson. Look me up. I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you.
I'm getting rid of him Friday. We'll see you after that.
All right. I want to say congratulations to, before we get to our guests here, congratulations to GD and Ron Kane. Apparently they are psychic. They are prognosticators. They are intuitive. And not that, listen, anybody could have said he would have dropped out and probably been right eventually. But to get it by the end of August in the last week, it's pretty... maybe you should go to Vegas and play some numbers. I'm just thinking.
He hasn't dropped out yet. I don't know how Ron feels about it, but I won't feel good about it until not only has he dropped out, but he has sent handwritten apologies to all of the people that have supported him who are now disappointed.
I can't imagine people still not being angry about this, but you said feeling good. Now, will you feel good if he drops out? Because I welcome him being in it, because I agree with her that he takes a lot of votes away from Donald Trump.
Well, I agree also, but I'm just saying if he's going to drop out, so I don't care about being right or wrong. And you don't believe me? Ask my wife. I'm always wrong. Ask my wife. I'm always wrong. But
the pain. The pain. I'm sorry. You're saying
I don't care about being right or wrong. What I care about is
Oh, no.
all right, damn it. I care a little about being right or wrong. But what I really care about more is the fact that there are all these idiots who I tried to warn about RFQ, and now he owes them an apology.
every last one of them. Well, not every last one of them. This is my thing. Some of these people, like I think Binder had to be in on this. He's too close to him. They've been friends for 40 years. I don't think he's surprised by this at all. I think he knew about this, and he's not owed an apology. Now he's one of the people that I think owes an apology, and I'm just wondering how many Mike Binders there are that were in on this. Yeah, Mike, I'm accusing you of being complicit. If you're listening, he is listening.
Okay, those who are not complicit need a written apology from him.
Right. All right.
I'll modify that. Now I don't know how Ron feels. He can speak for himself, but I think
can. Obviously, he can't speak for himself.
Ron can speak for himself, but I think this is what he's going to say. I think Ron is going to say no. No.
Ron is like Teller.
Ron's gonna say something like, "You gotta just grab her and fuck it in the ear." And then let it lick your toes clean, and then remind it that that Trump is gay.
Whoa,
is that close?
Not even. Ron is Harpo Marx Teller. That's Ron's. We got to get him a little and then
he's Harpo Marcel Teller.
Right. All right. Dr. Solomon has been patiently waiting to talk to these imbeciles. But he's an adolescent psychiatrist, and you couldn't be in a better place if you want to talk to adolescents about mental health than this place right here, because we are quite adolescent. Adolescent psychiatrist and self-proclaimed frat boy turned shrink as he looks to round up his fellow bros for a trip and often untouched by men in the bromotions. He's got a podcaster, Shrink. Good morning, Dr.
Dog, you weren't kidding. The question that you left dangling for me was, can I swear on this podcast? And as I've been patiently waiting, gentlemen, clearly that won't be a problem. What's up, y'all? Good morning.
Wait a minute, were we swearing?
I don't know if I heard about putting any body parts inside any other body parts over these last 10 minutes. I will plead the fifth.
No, sir, you're gonna have to watch your fucking mouth when you're on this show. Okay, it's totally inappropriate, not allowed. Okay.
If anybody, you could ask anybody who listens to my podcast, or heck, even any of my patients. They know that swearing is certainly on the table because it's a way we express our feelings. It's a way that we really fucking care.
I agree.
My question is
super true. Talk, boys.
My question is, it says that you're an adolescent psychiatrist, but you look too old to be an adolescent. So I'm wondering how did you get your degree at such a young age?
Sure. I appreciate that, GD. I'm going to take that opportunity to explain to people what the path is to become a psychiatrist. I'm going to loop off that. So you got to go to undergrad, you go to medical school, you do a residency to work with adults. So I've worked at the Veterans Hospital, I've worked in prisons, and then I used to be an elementary school teacher. So I've worked in school. So then you specialize and you get a fellowship in child and adolescent psychiatry. So you do adults. And then, if you think about it, right, if you want to learn about people, you've got to do it from the beginning. So it's kind of a backwards order we do it in. But I know families. I've been a family therapist, a couples therapist. I've worked with moms on how moms and dads about attaching to their babies, getting on the ground and playing with them. Men struggle with that a lot.
Now what state are you in? I mean, what geographic state? What geographic state are you in?
My mental state is I'm tired because I'm in Colorado and it's 7:24 in the morning.
Wow.
So grew up in Ohio, big Bengals, Ohio State Buckeyes fan, all that stuff. And then I did my residency training out in Colorado.
I got a question. How much cocaine do you do every day?
This is my natural state, Ronnie boy. Now, if that's a Freud reference, we can get a whole separate world into Freud and his boys and all the things they sniff.
Well, I
Oh,
think
man.
you've made a breakthrough because you've gotten Ron to actually speak. He hasn't spoken in 44 years.
I wondered that, Ron. We need to get you into the office, onto the couch, and see what you got going on in there.
You had him at couch.
Yeah. Well, all right. We can make it.
Now, I have a question.
Virtual these days, so you can sit wherever the hell you want.
Yeah, he's a big JD fan, so JD Vance fan. So
sure, Ohio. It's a complicated place, Ohio.
Yeah,
he loves the love seat.
Now, we had a psychiatrist on, I think it was last week. I don't think it was this week. The days get munched together with me, but it was recently, and he was really a dry piece of toast. But he had this unusual theory that all mental illness is evolutionary. And
not all. It was one particular. It was the the one. It was one. Damn it. Because he said
really, I don't remember him saying there was an exclusion to that rule.
No, it was one particular one because he said it was tied into language. So not Alzheimer's, not what was it? The one they hear the voices.
I would just think depression,
schizophrenia.
Well, I heard you were talking about somebody with schizophrenia. Yeah. I have no thoughts on that. I mean, I think of really most mental illness as a whole as a combination of genetics and environment. And that's mostly how we think about schizophrenia now, is the 2-hit theory. So that idea means that you have the genetic making of somebody who could develop schizophrenia, and then you have something happen that could be a traumatic environment growing up. It could be a major trauma later in life. We know that people tend to develop schizophrenia between the ages of 18 and 24, not only, but mostly. Great documentary on HBO called 6 Schizophrenic Brothers. I highly recommend.
Yeah,
based out in Colorado. Yeah.
Now, this other doctor, his theory was that without language, but for the existence of language, schizophrenia would not exist, because schizophrenia did not exist. He's saying it did not exist 50,000 years ago until we developed language.
But he did say, let me clarify that, because he did say all mental illness can be traced back to the advent of language development, and that's where but also that not only does the cause is evolutionary, but the cure, the treatment, is evolutionary. And like, there's no hope in that. If you're suffering from anything and a doctor says, come back and see me in 50,000 years, you're out of hope.
My dog, that's just what I was thinking, which is like, okay, that's just not what I spend my time thinking about. Like, you all hear my podcast. Hopefully you all listen and subscribe and become kinder, gentler bros is what we're shooting for.
Kinder, gentler bros.
This is the live in the now. I have no idea what was happening 50,000 years ago. Hell, to some people listening to this podcast, 50,000 years ago didn't even exist.
Right.
But just think of how much you could bill. Just think of the billing hours you could get in that much time.
Right. Oh, boy. Hey,
not if they are only coming to see you once every 50,000 hours. That's 50,000 years. I mean,
people that puts on my caseload, my dog. That's a lot of people who could call me freaking out overnight. I ain't into that.
Right. So we also went down this whole avenue of psychedelics and using that as treatment. Where do you have to have some? Being in Colorado, you have to have some thoughts.
I got opinions on it. We have like most of the national psychedelic conferences are in Colorado these days. So some of the godfathers in the game are based out of Colorado. So sure. Totally. That is not what I do. It's not part of my practice. I have friends. One of my close friends, Kylie House. She's going to be on my podcast here soon because she's one of the first physicians on an LSD-assisted psychotherapy study that was actually approved by the government. So that's first of its kind. You know that we're using MDMA, we're using ketamine, we're using psilocybin, and it's good stuff, right? We've all seen the studies with psilocybin, equally effective as a typical antidepressant called Lexapro is what it was compared to. But we're getting freaky with it. You know, these studies are getting more more power behind them, which means more people enrolled. And how I believe the psychedelic therapy can be used is the role I see for therapy is that people are blocked, right? We have defense mechanisms that honestly stop us from telling the truth. Now, I'm not saying people are lying. What I'm saying is they're defended. Well, I mean, they're not telling the truth, but it's because their brain won't let them, not because they're willfully lying. Some people may be lying in therapy. So what these psychedelics can do is break down those defenses, smash through those walls, and get you to start talking about shit that you need to get off your chest. really how your brain is more like it.
Part of the problem with telling the truth is you have to tell the truth to yourself first. So you could be believing within yourself, it's on some level, that you are telling the truth to others because you're not letting yourself really accept the truth about who and what you are and what you've done. And because a lot of us lack the ability to forgive ourselves for the dumb mistakes we made in the past and grow past them. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely, I would agree with that, right? We have to, I say the therapy is the laboratory to learn how to be honest with ourselves. It's the practice field for all the bros listening. And then we got to take that shit out into real life. You know, if you're in an abusive relationship, you need to stop rationalizing it by saying, oh, he's a good provider, or she's good in bed, or whatever the things are you say.
Hey,
you tolerate abuse.
Okay, first, no. I'm sorry. If she's good in bed or he's good in bed, that trumps all of the other things. Because the whole reason why, reason why men have successful careers and bathe and stuff like that is to have somebody who's good in bed. That's the only reason why men do that.
It's true because look, if I wasn't good in bed, I'd be single. I'm a fat dude in a wheelchair. That's all I have to offer.
Oh shit! Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So without that, I'd have nothing to lean on.
Okay, doctor, you've really hit on a nerve now. Okay,
apparently I did. All I'm saying is we should not tolerate being treated like shit. We shouldn't make excuses for it.
Okay, I agree. That I agree with. We should.
Okay, all right. Like sorry, I brought the sex, drugs, and rock and roll up today, boys. Yeah. GD, you live some life, dude. I'll try not to tell my wisdom over to your wisdom. All right.
Well, he's a contrarian by nature. No matter what you say, he's going to disagree with it.
I'm not a contrarian. I'm just.
See,
great, crazy.
He's so GD funny. He can't
being a contrarian about being a contrarian. Yeah, if I said he wasn't a contrarian, he would say I am.
I'm a contrarian. I'm a contrarian. I am all for the good sex.
GD, what we would teach you in my field is it's okay to throw your nonsense out there. You just got to let the person finish their thought first.
Can't do
that. That is important. That's the social skill to learn today. Is hey,
thank you.
ADHD is getting a hold of you. You got to take a note so you don't just interrupt people like a motherfucker.
I thank you, Ron. Thanks you.
Come back to it. There we go. See, my dog, your whole staff's going to be a little more chill by the end of the day.
I don't think he's going to absorb that.
No,
he's not a good student. He's not a good team player as far as being coachable and all these kind of things.
I just wrote a note that says ignore all of the notes you write after this note.
Yeah, he not learn very well.
No,
yeah.
That's funny.
So now, just lastly on the psychedelics, is there like a window of time where it becomes not ineffective, but like you're relying too much on it? Not like it's being a physical addiction, but it was only meant to get you over the hump and someday, but it only gets you to be able to where you can address the issues honestly, and not a lifetime sentence or lifetime medication. And people, I love microdosing. Now I'm just going to do it every day and then stay happy.
You got right to what I was going to say, which is theoretically any medication. I don't think of psychedelics all that differently from the medications we use now. That is not, look, dude, big pharma does not pay me more if I prescribe somebody Prozac or not. Fuck them, right? But the idea here is that any medication we use should be a means to an end. So, Mind Dog, to your exact point, if microdosing helps you do the things you need to do, which is, advocate for yourself at work, or go on dates when you're too anxious to, or get your ass out of bed and shower because you're depressed, not just because you want to get laid. Although hand in hand, right? You get laid a little more, probably less depressed. So it's the same thing with the medications we use, where if I'm going to start a medication with somebody, be it for depression, anxiety, I would like there to be a path off that medication. And I tell my patients that, especially the kids, right? It's, hey, we're going to work on this hard shit. And then hopefully that you're off these medicines in blank amount of time. So I would say the same for the psychedelics, which is, look, man, and the way I would obviously pitch psychedelics, I'm a physician, so I'm talking about them within the confines of therapy that you're also being monitored and supported healthily, is that you are getting your shit out, you're processing your shit, and then ideally you need everything a little less, right? Like your shit's just more under control, you're less sad, you're less anxious, so your drive for using substances is less.
Too often
Unless
there's not an exit plan.
Party
Right?
in, you know, I don't know. But, you know, talk about the day-to-day, of course, like you said, with the microdosing.
Yeah, there's no exit plan. So it's like a war. We get it like Iran, Iraq, or Afghanistan. We get into it without knowing how we're going to get off it.
Yeah,
and then it becomes very easy to get happy by microdosing.
And just again comparing the microdosing to any of the antidepressants we use, because that's where the research studies have been. The idea is people get psychologically dependent. It's not physical addiction, my dog, like you said, because you don't build a tolerance necessarily, but mentally you might not take it for a few days because you don't want to anymore. Hey, talk to your doctor if you're going to do that. All right. Then you're like, oh my God, I feel worse. I stopped the medicine. I must need it. And it's like, hold on. You didn't taper off it slow enough. We can reassess. And that's why those processes need to be monitored by your physician with you, because, hey, if you're doing good work, you might not need to stay on medicine forever. Now, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, some other really bad OCD, some of those do become a lifelong thing because where you're at and what your brain state is without the medications is just not suitable for living, unfortunately, or functioning, not living, my bad. So that's what I'd say to that. And I think of the psychedelics very similarly. People got excited about psychiatric medicines the same way, and now this is just the new hotness. So of course I'm happy that we have some of these options: ketamine, LSD coming down the pipe, MDMA. These types of therapies work. We've seen the MDMA studies work with military veterans who are too mentally locked in to get that shit out. So if anybody in this audience has done MDMA, you know that you can't help but be talking. And that is what we need to do. We need to get people talking and being honest with themselves.
Well, cocaine will get you talking, but
same. We're just not going to, again, there was a whole window of time when we were greenlighting cocaine use in this country. So I think those days are behind us because we've got a little more chemically stable bullets, my dog, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, like fentanyl.
Right. Yeah. Not so chemically stable sitcom. And whoever mentioned JD Vance earlier, right? We know all about how Hillbilly Elegy and how opioids have really fucked us, boys, huh? Yeah. And again, doctors. I mean, you have pharma companies and then the doctors who are willing to take that money to do these kinds of things. And so it's sad. We all need to be responsible and good stewards of health out there.
Right.
Now, with the what was it, Matt? What was that Grace say?
I don't know.
Damn it!
You're gonna say
stop, mine dog. I get Ron talking and GD not talking.
Really? No, I think you were gonna say I apologize for being alive.
If you can make me walk, you'll have the trifecta of Dr. Superhero powers.
I could make you run.
Oh, now you was talking about getting people to talk. Now, it's been my experience that all you need is a good shampoo. You get somebody to do your hair and they do your shampoo, your mouth just opens instantly.
Yo, funny, right? My barber or hairstylist, whatever you call her, I've been together for 5 years. She's the shit, right? She was studying to be a therapist. She's had a couple kids. So we're constantly talking about stuff and it's great. It's a relationship business, GD, right? The shampoo. Right. But a lot of relationship businesses are out there. Theoretically, your accountant, your lawyer, I don't know, those are white collar jobs. But you're going to have a relationship with most of the people in your life that you see consistently.
My accountant is insane.
Yeah.
Insane is probably not a word you use too often.
Actually, insane means something, my dog. I don't let my patients use the word crazy. Oh, doc, you must think I'm crazy. Right. Crazy is not specific enough. I go, I don't know if I think you're crazy. What do you mean by that? Do you mean I think you run hot and cold? You're emotionally explosive. You got a short fuse, that you fuck up all your relationships, that you can't sleep, you're hearing voices. Those are all different ways we use the word crazy.
And you have a patient that goes, yes, when you say that.
Yeah. Yes. Well, what I actually say, GD, is I soften them up by saying, we're all crazy. Normal's kind of boring, right? Yeah. It's like, who's normal? I mean, none of you assholes. That's
right. No, I agree with that.
Guy either. So normal is boring. I think if I was normal, I wouldn't do as well with my patients. And same with the podcast. I think if I wasn't, if any of us weren't acting authentically, and you guys know this, that people smell that bullshit, they're not interested.
There you go. That's But now, just going back to my account really quick, he is what I call insane because he goes from one conspiracy theory to the next, and like talking like a guy who's very high on coke, like really fast, and he doesn't ever complete a thought. Or he just will go from he rambles every Alex Jones talking point all day long.
You trust this man with your money? ?
He does pretty good for me.
Okay, fair enough. So these are the differences between personality structure, right? Like he has a personality that is liable to get in that paranoid kind of conspiracy theory space, or actual schizophrenia. And people confuse those, right? You talked about schizophrenia recently. People are like, oh, that person must be thinking about conspiracy theories. No, they're like getting messages from God that there's a chip in their head and all this weird stuff. So your boy, he's regular old crazy, and schizophrenics are mentally ill.
Okay. Yeah, no, I want to get out of there and come back when my taxes are done. That's all I really want to. I don't want to. Yeah. Coming back to the schizophrenia thing, I asked this because I have had many psychics and mediums and channelers on. And I asked one, and I don't know what compelled me to ask this finally after 40 years of doing this. I finally said to one, what is the difference between you hearing voices and schizophrenia? And she said, none. There is no difference. And I posed that question to Dr. Lesk, and he basically said, well, it depends. They could be if they actually are hearing voices, or if they just are believing they are hearing voices. I was like, isn't that the same thing? If you believe you're hearing a voice, you're hearing a voice. I don't know.
What's interesting is that people hearing voices is significantly more common out in the world than you think. So there is the schizophrenia type hearing voices. And if you're going to if you have schizophrenia, that's a cognitive disorder. All right. So the rest of you is not going to be functioning well. That's the main difference between schizophrenia and other types of what we'd say psychotic symptoms, being delusional, being paranoid, or hearing voices. If somebody's experienced trauma at a very young age that has their platform of safety, how safe they feel in life, you're going to hear voices. It is a very common trauma response. And that might be what Dr. Leskin's talking about, where like the spectrum of like how trauma fucks you up and then your genetic makeup and how it presents, that's different for everybody. So two people, Ron, will get you talking. If you and I had the same exact experiences throughout our lives, we don't have the same genetics. And so we're just not going to present the same way. There might be some ideas like, that's my job, is to say, well, you had these things happen, so maybe this is more likely to be the way you're going to show up. These are more likely to be your problems. That doesn't mean they're going to be your problems. That's just what research says. It's what the textbook would say the majority may show up as. Yeah. But yeah, voices, man, they're out in these streets. And it does not mean that I need to put you in the loony bin. No.
So what about the people who, like Julie Green, who is the prophet of the right now? She talks to God on a daily basis and then goes on Twitter and delivers messages that God gave her. Now, it's amazing to me how wrong God is. Like, I would not go to Vegas with God if it's our God. But these people who talk to God, literally...
Yeah.
Is that schizophrenia?
On our show, we're trying to capture as many people in America who are willing to work on being kinder and gentler. So when people ask me about religion or ask me about politics, we throw our hands up. We say there's nothing religious and nothing political about being kinder and gentler. It does not matter. There's no part of those things that connect to each other. So, and that's, hey, Stephen, you laugh because that's just a good way to avoid drama, right? And so, because it's true. Mostly. And it's true. There is no, I've had people come at me about like this and you're a liberal, and I'm like, hey, there's literally nothing about the government. There's nothing about politics that we're talking about here. It doesn't matter. So to your girl, Julie, I don't know this person. I have nothing to say.
I'm just in general, people who talk to God, who hear, not.
Yeah.
Hear him.
So look, I did not grow up particularly aggressively religious in any faith. And so it's hard for me to say what the experience is like of people who've been doing stuff like that since they were super young. I would imagine, and I'm just, kind of pitching here, if you've been somebody that prayer has been a major focus of your life since the minute you popped out the womb, and I'm going to assume that's Julie's deal, or maybe she's trying to sell a bag of goods to an audience. I have no idea. And I would assume that if you're a daily prayer person, that you're gonna have the perception that you are having a response, maybe a back and forth with whoever you're talking to. And of course, I could hypothesize on like other sources that might have her experience that. But to your point, Mind Dog, psychiatrists are held by something called the Goldwater Rule. I'm not allowed to diagnose or comment on someone's fitness for office, for example, on a live platform that I have not seen without their consent. So as much as I would love to spit out loud what I think our girl Julie's up to, I just punt those things because I enjoy being a doctor and I don't need anybody coming for my license.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to make it specifically about her, but
that's my job is to protect that. You know, I love sports, and so we talked about Draymond Green in the first episode, and people ask me to talk about Kyrie Irving, what's changed with him, and it's like, hey, I would love to go into that stuff, but I can't use diagnoses, I can't use certain labels, and that's what people want. I mean, that's the juicy shit. So, like, of course, I want to do that, but again, it's a respect for. Fuck me, the power I've earned or the influence I have as a doctor, you know, like you just got to be careful with that stuff and make sure you're using it right.
You're the coolest down-to-earth doctor I've ever heard talk.
That's the whole idea. So I didn't grow up in ivory towers, right? I grew up in a blue-collar part of Cincinnati, Ohio. I've worked in inner-city schools. I've traveled the world, thankfully, because that's been blessed for me to do. So that is the whole idea here. I did not understand mental health at all. I backed my ass into becoming a psychiatry resident. And the first few months of being a therapist, I looked around and I was like, fuck me, I'm terrible at this. Not being a therapist, I'm terrible at feelings. Only know anger. I'm a boy from the Midwest. All I can do is be pissed off. I have no idea how to be any other emotion. And so, guys, I've just inhaled this shit. I've been in my own therapy for years. I've read every fucking book. I practice, and I think people in my life would tell you that they've watched me grow leaps and bounds. And the whole point of the podcast is I believe if given the opportunity and the knowledge base that all men, all people, but the focus is that men were clearly not taught this shit. We were told to be soldiers, football players, and boys will be boys and bullshit like that. Instead of the honest truth, which is you can both be manly, you can both be masculine and in touch with your emotions at the same time. And that's what makes people good fathers, partners, parents, humans, all that stuff.
Now, my question is, you're talking about not being able to, for professional reasons, diagnose someone that you have not met, so to speak.
Right.
Now, but in the practice of law, they have like a catch-all. When they want to talk about those things, they say, well, hypothetically, and then they can say like anything they want.
I'm going to cut you off because don't you go comparing doctors and lawyers.
Yeah.
No, not
frankly, respectfully, sir, fuck you. Because that is, there's a lot of good lawyers out there and we need people upholding the law. I'm a firm believer that like, if you took all laws away in general, which I'm not supporting, nobody misquote me, that most people would still do good. Most people still want an orderly society. Most people want calm and peace and to treat each other well. Now, you'd still have some motherfuckers out there who would start riots and, they'd start World War III off no laws. And that's the problem we've gotten into, GD, right? Like policing and all this stuff. So humbly, fuck you.
Right.
Now, first of all, I agree with you. I am not.
I agree with him too. Fuck you.
I am not a proponent for the lawyers. I consider them a necessary evil. I wish they didn't have to exist.
And some of them are also an unnecessary evil, but
that's true.
I think we can all agree on one thing, though.
So they would
just
talk to you
if we could get a consensus on this. Fuck GD, right?
Yeah,
well,
totally.
I will go 100% in on fuck GD, and then I'll go 75% on fuck doctors, and then like 70% fuck lawyers.
Wow.
Hey, Steven, you mentioned being in a wheelchair, and I don't know your story. The medical field it's not
the doctors
perfect.
did it.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. So something surgery issue. Yeah. So
in my brain,
you can just say it.
Yeah.
Just stand up for yourself, Steven. Just stand up for yourself, Steven. That's all you have to do.
I'm trying, man. But hey, listen. In my world, it's like you got like your murderers, right? And then you got like your Nazis, and then the doctors are like right there.
Oof.
So no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding. And plus, you're a brain doctor. You're like one of the few doctors I do like. I don't like physical body doctors. Nah, no, fuck those guys.
As much as I love, so I went to medical school. I can prescribe medications, all that stuff.
Right.
I've done surgery in my training, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what I like to say is, sure, I'm a brain doctor, but those are really neurologists. I'm a doctor of feelings, and that's the way that I like to think about it. Especially that's how I.
Did he say he could write prescriptions?
That is what. Yeah, boy. I'm a doctor, as my friends like to say. A full on.
So you're a doctor of feelings.
Correct. A psychiatrist goes to medical school, and then you do a residency like every other kind of doctor. In fact, my training took 5 years after medical school. So
that's what the PH is for. The PH is for feeling.
Oh, I'm a DO, a doctor of osteopathic medicine. So there's DOs and MDs. Those are the two main types of doctors out in the street.
So you're a doctor of feelings. So that's a weird way to say you're gay. But I have a question.
Hey, we're all out just trying to get laid, you know. That's all it is.
So Matt already said you're super cool. So while he's getting a boner over how cool you are, my question for you is, my ex-wife had this, and I'm not going to say her name, so you can give your opinion, okay? So
although we are, I mean, how many ex-wives have you had? Because I'm already if there's,
I was
widowed. Meant to be harsh, GD. It's like if he's only got one ex-wife, then there's only one person he can be talking about.
Well, I was widowed 4 times, and then only have one ex-wife. But so my question is, my ex-wife had this really weird thing where she would dress up like herself and then just be a super bitch to everybody all the time. Is that crazy, or is that like schizophrenia?
What do you mean dressed up like herself?
Yeah.
It was just like her normal everyday thing. That so listen, this is my life.
I hear you. I'm just laughing.
He's also got a kind of caveman who lives in a cage there that he lets out to bring him drinks every once in a while.
Which is cool. So I guess here's
he's
often
out.
Often what I would say again when people ask me, "Is this crazy or am I crazy?" Is
you put him away?
I need more information. That's always what a good shrink can say. Is like, I don't know, tell me more. And then you can just punt that shit forever and ever.
Yeah, this whole dressing up like yourself. I dress up like myself every day. I put on a Napo mask every morning.
Yeah.
And I don't.
The real question is, she would legitimately wake up in the morning, okay? And from the time she woke up to the time she'd go to bed, she would only interact with people in a negative way. So, I mean, like, first thing in the morning, she'd walk outside, and if somebody was near our car, she'd scream at them. Then she'd go to a gas station. She'd yell at the gas station guy. She'd stop at a restaurant to eat, like, breakfast, and then she'd scream at the waiter.
Yeah.
I don't remember being married to you.
As opposed...
I would...
As opposed to me...
It got so bad. It got so bad that at restaurants, I would have to leave, like, $50 tips because she would make people cry.
Yeah.
I like your ex-wife. It sounds like me.
Yeah. Somebody had to put this guy in his place.
Her dick's bigger than yours, Matt.
I got a couple thoughts. My first one is that when we're doing therapy and we act as a therapist, we're going to assume that a person, at least the vast majority of people, are doing the best they can with whatever nonsense they got going up on their noodle and whatever's been in their life experience. So I would flip it back to you, Stephen, and say, do you know her story well enough that you could maybe explain why she projects such anger out into the world? What's her deal? What's her story? Yeah, I'm going to assume this was a pre-existing thing, but if that was it, then we already know the answer.
So I will tell you that the day that we separated, both of her brothers called me and said, "I don't know how you lasted as long as you did. If you need help moving, let us know."
Do you know enough about her childhood? Do you think there was big T trauma in there? Do you think that she had modeling that was made for her that said, "This is how you treat people"?
The only thing that I can think of that would be even mildly traumatizing is the fact that her parents were swingers.
So
swingers?
If that, if she saw that stuff with her own eyes, maybe that has her question, like, what are relationships? How do you treat people? Maybe she was depressed, like, I don't know what would have you be angry all the time, right? Bipolar mania, irritability from depression, trauma, obviously. So I'm just spitballing everybody, generally, like, this is the questions I would ask people, Stephen, is if somebody in your life is a pain in the ass. I can be. I know you jerks can be. Is
you don't count. We're not talking about pegging.
There we go.
Go on. Sorry.
So no, you're good, man. This is so. We use this expression since we were kids. Put yourself in the other person's shoes, which a lot of people can do in that moment. To be like, okay. Right now they're upset because their food came out cold and the waiter was curt with them. Now, what we need to do, and this is something you will learn on the podcast if you strap in and join the ride, everybody, pinky promise, that you will learn how to really understand someone else's perspective, which means we need to go all the way back into their early life. And this is doable. I had to learn this. I was not able to do this. I'm not from a nice part of the world. I had to scratch and fucking claw to learn how to do this stuff, to be like, okay, their parents were swingers. Their older brothers were this. They grew up in this part of the world. Like, let's try and make sense of why someone's a pain in our ass. So what I ask people to do is when you're feeling judgmental, Steven, try to be curious instead. Why might the person be doing what they're doing? What might explain it?
I can tell you where her head was in
On top of her shoulder.
In several dudes' laps. So that tells me that she was just mean to me to be mean to me. So
well, she might have been mean to those guys too. I mean, she's scratching itches, right? Whatever is going on in her world, all these humans don't do nothing for nothing.
Yeah.
So we might not know why we're doing what we're doing because, again, defenses, blocks, and there's always a reason we do stuff. Attention, which people consider a dirty word. Look, I'm wearing this shirt. I'm starting a podcast. I do shit for attention all the time, as do all of you. So
I'm a slut for attention.
Right. So we all do things for different reasons. But humans we really don't do anything for no reason. And that's just the way I think about it.
So, but with all you're saying, it is very, and I agree with what you're saying, because I've been asked this question, and I ask this question of people a lot: who hurt you, and what is the cause of what you?
Hurt people, baby. That's what we know about bullying, right?
Even understanding that doesn't mean, and you can totally forgive somebody, but that doesn't mean you should stay with them.
It does not excuse violent or aggressive behavior. No, that is the point of my. The podcast. And I think all you guys, you could have bad shit happen and it does not excuse continuing. I mean, it explains continuing to treat people like shit. It does not excuse it. And it certainly does not excuse violent crime.
Right.
So let's say hypothetically a guy in lingerie and a MAGA hat charges me and knocks me over. Okay.
Yeah.
Should I find their
I'm sorry about that. I told you I apologize. Why can't you let it go?
I can't let it go because you mushroom stamped me before you ran off.
Superficially, I'm not sure what that guy was up to. Sounds like a fun Saturday night, maybe on some meth, bath salts, PCP, hard to say. And so, I mean, substance is usually the answer for most people's bad behavior. I think we all know that. Alcohol being number one, humbly causes the most problems in this country. People refuse to look at it. 2, your boy, I don't know, man. So this is very interesting, Steven, because I've had a lot of men come to me and say, you're trying to feminize men. You're trying to take away their aggression. I'm like, dude, you think I'm going to be able to take men? My God, you think I'm going to be able to fucking convince a bunch of men not to be aggressive? So, Steven, there's a role, right, for using that aggression in a safe way. You know what I'm saying? So there's a role for using that. And if somebody plows into you on the street, I mean, yeah, your first thought can be what the fuck, but your first action can also be yo, fuck you. And it's whatever, it is what it is, right? But if that person is then talking to themselves and hitting themselves in the head, then you would probably de-escalate to be oh, I should probably just call the cops and get this guy to the hospital, right? Those are the differences.
Well, to be fair, I did forgive him because it happened to be when Grindr was down during the RNC. So I feel like there was just a lot of pent up aggression and anger. And I get it.
A lot of politicians that couldn't get their rocks off the way they wanted to. I get it.
There's a problem here is because he's talking in it's a hypothetical, but he also is coming off like he truly believes that this happened, and it's just playing off his imagination right now.
Yeah, Steven, you got some interesting personality structures. A lot of you boys got some interesting personality structures. I'll tell you, it's been a fun time.
You call them personality traits. They're all disorders.
Now get into
This is interesting, Steven, because we're going to talk about personality coming up in a few weeks. And the term we use in mental health is personality disorder, as if people either have a personality problem or they don't. And it's like, like people will talk about borderline personality disorder is the most common thing we talk about. To think that all of us or anyone listening to this doesn't carry some of that shit around with them, some of that baggage, some of that yada. We all have that stuff. And why 60 years ago we decided to say disorder means this, and then what? You just like get off scot-free if you don't meet criteria. You're still fucking relationships up. You're still having, attachment issues. Right. So we're really shifting towards all that stuff being on the spectrum, which is the way it needs to go.
Wow. You're opening up doors to things I definitely would like to talk about if we have more time here. Get in, fellas, pod. Now, how often do you put that out, publish?
We're banging out, man. Today is episode 11. We talk about not seeing the world in black and white today. So that's called Walking the Middle Path. We talk about ghosting, who ghosts, why we ghost, and what's the emotional reasons that we ghost people in the dating world, and how it feels to get ghosted. So every Wednesday morning we drop episodes, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and humbly, you see the Instagram below, we're doing daily social media content. So you can get pieces of good information in 10 to 15 seconds. And hey, guys, we're just looking to spread the word, right? I do truly believe we can create a kinder, gentler world, and it's right in front of us. It's happening and it's possible.
I have one question real quick before you disappear.
Well, hold your question before you, because I want to get to this. The guest-wise, do you solicit for guests? Are you looking for broken people? Because comedians, I got thousands of them.
It's funny that my podcast is most often compared to like Neil Brennan, Dax Shepard, Andrew Santino. Like it is comedy, but it's also sports. But so right now, my guests are like my friends and other clinicians that I've worked with. So we're new. And I assume as we go and continue to grow, which I anticipate, we're going to hear from people who want to come on. Right now, guys, I actually wanted to write a book, and it was going to be called Therapy for Bros. So a lot of the content, outside of some of the pop culture things we do, it's skills-based. You motherfuckers need to sit down and learn how to talk about your feelings, how to be mindful, how to tolerate distress. And then, Mind Dog, we can get into having people on and just being like, tell me, because you can't learn basic therapy skills through a conversation. I'm sorry, you just can't. You have to learn the vocabulary and you have to practice. You have to do the homework. And again, eventually, Mind Dog, we will be looking for guests as our topics just get more free form, more random. So we're going to get into like sports psychology. We're going to get into eating disorders and exercise problems in men. We're going to get into more general topics. But first, you assholes got to sit down and learn how to be right. And that's what the first kind of like 12 to 14 episodes is about, which is how to talk about your feelings, how to make sure you know if your mind's telling you the truth or not, how to control your shit so you don't make it worse. That's a lot of what we're up to for the first few months.
All right, GD, you remember your question now?
Sure, I remember my question.
He took notes. He took notes.
Doc. First of all, are MRIs a good source of material or helpful with the therapy?
Interesting. Yeah, GD. So we definitely are using imaging. I would say generically MRI versus other types of imaging to teach us about things. Now, and so like, what are the sources? A lot of research studies is like, okay, fear, we induce fear in somebody. Where in the brain is that lighting up? Trauma responses, all that stuff. For me to say that it has a role in like day-to-day therapy, if it does, that's out of my purview, and MRIs are expensive. So I'm not about to ask somebody to pay $5,000 to sit in an MRI machine when I have no idea what I'd be looking at. But it's very possible that some like neuropsychology people are out there doing good research around like, can we develop, because therapy has always been like a soft science, right? And I love therapy. That is, when I work with kids, I'm doing 90% therapy, 10% sprinkling on some medications if we need to. Okay. So what is going on up in the brain? It matters to me, but there's also a reason I call myself a doctor of feelings, or maybe better yet, I'm a doctor of the human experience. Yeah. Because I'm not thinking about your brain as much as I am your heart, your soul, and your day-to-day life.
Wow, cool stuff.
Well, listen, I would love to have you back on because we're just scratching the surface with you. You got a lot of things that I would like to expose our audience to, and hopefully promote your podcast and have people listen to. It's something I definitely will be subscribing to.
Absolutely. Hey, Steven, I saw you hopped. I actually just put this on Instagram Live while we were talking, so I know at least a few of my buddies have checked it out. So, Steven, thanks for joining the ride. And guys, give me 1 second. I'm going to show everybody so they can see this. The podcast, you can find.
Hold on, let me do this. There you go.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, there's Cameron. Get in, fellas. We're going to therapy. My boy Harrison on the art. That is, yes, a combination of Mean Girls and Fear and Loathing Las Vegas on the cover art. But yes,
very cool stuff.
Fellas, we're going to therapy is a Mean Girls reference for sure.
All right. Dr. Solomon, thank you very much for being part of the morning program, and enjoy the rest of your day in Colorado. And please do come back now, and don't make it a long time. We got things to talk about.
Hey, you can tell I wake up ready to rock. All right, everybody, have a good day.
All right, cool. Be well. Are for now. Dr. Stephen Solomon, folks. Wow, he's got that was a
fellow morning person. I like him already.
Are you a morning person? I mean, I can't tell.
Yes. I am a morning person.
Seems like anytime I talk to you, you're just like an obnoxious. Whether it's day or night, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I'm worse in the morning, if you call it worse. If you're going to grade my obnoxiousness on a curve, then the curve is much higher in the morning than in the evening.
What is that? Oh, that's his thing? The dog? It's a dog with headphones on?
That's Matt Knapp of the Mind Otter.
We do have an app. This movie. I just want to say this movie site is going to take forever. There's so many. I bit off more. I like a pit bull that bit off more than I could chew with the movie site. But the app will probably be ready before the movie site.
Okay, so
we have to get to news. We have to get to news. Are you ready?
Yes. Sure. Yeah.
All right,
that's enough.
Tourists will soon have the opportunity to visit North Korea again.
According to two China-based tour operators, the reclusive nation is set to reopen one city to foreign tourists after nearly 5 years of border closures due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Beginning in December, visitors will be allowed to travel to the northern mountainous city of Samjeon, as reported by BBC News. Chris Anderson reporting.
The United States and South Korea commenced a significant joint military exercise aimed at deterring escalating threats from North Korea, which criticized the drills as offensive and provocative.
The annual exercise will address realistic threats across all domains, including the Democratic People's Republic of Korea's increasing missile threats, GPS jamming, cyber attacks, and lessons learned from recent armed conflicts. Both militaries stated last week the Democratic People's Republic of Korea is North Korea's official name. Paul Gomez reporting.
The United Kingdom has enacted emergency measures to alleviate overcrowding in prisons overwhelmed by those sentenced for participating in or inciting riots across England and Northern Ireland earlier this month.
Under Operation Early Dawn, defendants in Northern England who have been arrested but not yet appeared in court will be held in police station cells until a prison space becomes available, causing delays as they cannot face trial until space is secured. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
A Russian court has denied an appeal by a U.S. soldier sentenced to 3 years and 9 months in prison for alleged death threats and theft.
Gordon Black was sentenced in June by a court in Vladivostok, located in Russia's far eastern region, where he was arrested in May while visiting a Russian woman he had met and dated while stationed in South Korea. The 34-year-old was detained after the woman, identified by Russian media as Alexandra Vashuk, reported him to the police following an argument. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Is that the news?
This is the latest news headline.
Yeah, that's the news. That's the headline.
News?
It's taking too long.
Where's my bomb? Can't find my bomb.
Phil Donahue, the influential TV talk show host whose program aired for nearly 30 years, has died at the age of 88.
Donahue passed away Sunday night following an undisclosed illness, according to a family statement provided to ABC News by a representative for Donahue's wife of 44 years, Marlo Thomas. The family has requested that donations be made to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital or the Phil Donahue Notre Dame Scholarship Fund in lieu of flowers.
There you go. There we go. Blow that bitch right up.
Too many people are dying from undisclosed illness. I mean, every week somebody dies from undisclosed illness. I think we need a telethon or some kind of moonshot thing that helps to discover what this is. It's just happening too frequently.
I am gonna. I think I have another month on the contract, but as soon as that month is up, I'm dumping this news agency. They're giving us 3-day-old death news. Look, if somebody dies.
It's no longer dead. Yeah, if they came back and said we were wrong 3 days ago, Phil Donahue is back alive.
See, that would be cool.
That's a story.
And his family is pissed as hell that we.
That's right. And he missed 3 payments for his child support. Yeah, that I can understand.
Well, the people who were ready for the will reading and all, they got.
Damn it! I don't get to keep the cat. Fuck.
Yes. Now, speaking of lingerie, Phil Donahue, I believe, was one of the first TV hosts to actually cross-dress. I believe. I'm not sure about this.
It's really odd that that's what stuck out in your head, Matt, that you remember this man being pretty.
He had a lot of that going on, like his show, because you weren't around in those days. You weren't even born. You weren't even a
twinkle.
You weren't even pre-cum.
I wasn't even drip down my daddy's leg. I understand that.
Yeah, but every week he had a show that was full of kink like that. So this is what he was known for. That's why that sticks out in my mind.
But he tried to make it seem intellectual. So he didn't have like just a bunch of drag queens on. He had like drag queens and then a doctor of drag queenology, who could discuss drag queenness.
And he's responsible for crowd work. I don't know if he made this connection, but he was the first guy to actually get the crowd like feeling like they should be part of the show.
Yes.
So we can all blame him for
it. That motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah. Then it spread, and then like any other good disease, it spread to comedy and sports. It just spread.
It's ridiculous. I hope he gets cremated and turned into Matt Rife's jaw.
Yeah. You had to black yourself out to say that?
He doesn't want to get.
No, it's the
buffering. Matt Rife fans. He's afraid of Matt Rife fans of taking umbrage with it.
Matt Rife fans are all old women. You're afraid of old women? Because that's basically what it is. I mean, women over 40 definitely, but women over 60 even and 70.
Matt, you've worked in old homes. Can you imagine you doing a song and all of a sudden you are attacked by, let's say, 40 women in their 70s?
I don't have to imagine. I get fucking Depends thrown at me all the time.
Yeah, but those are Depends and room
Are they
keys. Used? You're getting Depends and room keys thrown at you.
I'm going to get that tonight because tonight I have an evening nursing home. Usually the nursing homes are afternoons. I have one 6 to 7 tonight, which is like midnight for them.
So that's like dinner time. Well, do you dress up in your formal wear when you?
You know what?
Do you croon at the nighttime shows as opposed to the afternoon shows?
I haven't done a nighttime show in about a year, but last time I did get a little dressed up. Last time I did a nighttime show.
Matt, what you should do is, because I know you're all about making these folks feel good, having a good time, and if they're throwing their Depends at you and their room keys, you just need to bring some Vaseline with you and just be a man.
Am I going to get sued over Family Guy copyright issue?
No, you're not. I don't even know what you're talking about.
All right. Are you guys now? Dr. Solomon was one of the better guests we've had on recently, don't you think?
He's the best guest we've had today, definitely.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with Dr. Todd Grande? Todd Grande.
He sounds large.
Yeah,
he sounds large, right? Grande bullshit is what I call him.
Number 7 at Taco Bell.
Here's the thing: he does like a live stream and he does YouTube stuff, but he always comes out. Speaking of, like, I'm not supposed to diagnose. He goes, just as a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anyone here. I'm just stating what could be happening in a case like this. But he's always talking about a specific case and gets right into it. But he also, I feel like, and he could sue me for saying this, but that's fine. What's he gonna get? I think he makes up. He starts every show like he's got letters coming in requesting he talk about a specific case, and I'm thinking Dr. Grande could be his own mental patient here, because I think he's writing himself these letters and saying you should.
I don't think he's not like a cartoon character or some sort of wrestling guy, Dr. Grande. I'm not buying it. This sounds like he got his degree on a stereo.
That's a stripper name. That's a stripper.
Steven,
name.
You would like him because he's like you. I'll just say that.
What, he's in a wheelchair?
Yes, he's in a wheelchair. But
Matt,
he's also like you in many ways. His father, I believe his father was a Klan member or something like that. Or something like that.
Well, at least
and he changed his name to something Hispanic, Grande.
Well, at least they have some culture. Now, listen, my question is, I don't think we ever discussed this, but have I ever told you the fact that I really don't like other handicapped people?
I guess this doesn't add up because you've sent us a few. You've tried to be friends with Joe Urell, who rejected you.
No, I wanted to fight with him on the show.
That's gotta hurt a little.
I wanted to fight with him on the show, and the other one that came,
Andy.
Andy is a very, very minimal exception, and we've never hung out in person.
Okay, but wasn't there one other? There was one other.
Well, I was just going to say I could see why, because if you'd hang out with Andy, you'd probably just want to hang yourself after.
Well, dude, okay, so listen. Here's the thing, right?
You know him other than being on the show. Hold on. Have you had experience with him? I know on the show he felt like Dr. Lesk, not like a comedian guy. He felt like that. I was talking to Dr. Lesk in a wheelchair. Is basically what I was talking.
I don't remember him at all.
I'm gonna plead the fifth. I agree. It's usually not great. My thing is, so I avoid other handicapped people for this reason. Okay, first of all, they always think because we're both Crippy boys that we're automatically best friends and cousins, and that's awful, terribly annoying. And then they want to do what I call the pain Olympics, and they want to start comparing our situations. And it's like, homie, this isn't going to be a comparable thing. He's like, what kind of diapers do you wear? I don't wear diapers, dude. Like, what service? What service brought you to this place? I fucking drive myself. Oh, okay. Hey, well, how many times does your nurse come visit you? I don't know. My wife does it before she jerks me off, dude. Don't ask me stupid questions.
You should have had this discussion when Dr. Solomon was on. I think you're getting it's getting close to the bone here, if you know what I'm saying. Close to the bone.
I'm like a black guy who's racist against black dudes.
Well, I was just gonna say you have two people here on this program. Ron Kane, who doesn't like white people, only likes black people, and GD, who doesn't like black people, only likes white people. You're all fucked up. That's what I'm saying. You're all fucked up. I love bald people. I have more bald friends than and I'm Puss.
Yeah, but how do you feel about women with mustaches?
I'm not prejudiced against them.
And you surround yourself with other bald people because you're insecure.
Really? I surround myself with Puss Patuk. I still can't say it right.
Did you drop him or did he drop himself?
He dropped himself.
My parents dropped me once, probably.
Right. Are you ready to meet our next guest? Are you ready?
Sure.
Are you ready?
Is she ready?
I don't know. What if Steven keeps blanking himself out?
I can't remember if you said the next guest was a male or a female. I don't remember. So give me a second. I can't see anything right now.
All right. Well, our next guest is Kaylee Weathers. She is the creator of Queerly Attached, a business that is dedicated to providing attachment trauma recovery resources for LGBT. Why can't I ever say this? LGBTQ plus community. Attachment trauma hits different when you're queer. I'm not even supposed to be allowed to say queer, by the way. I have a lesbian. I have a lesbian friend who says she's going to beat me up every time I say queer.
Okay, I got it. Oh, she's here already.
That might help you with it, because sometimes when you have a problem pronouncing something, if you sing it, it works better in your head. I mean, you're a musician. Just try singing it. LB.
All right, let me get her in the room, and then you can start with your nonsense here. Now, we're going to talk about this attachment trauma recovery. Let's just welcome her in. Get Kaylee in the room to save me from GD. Yeah. Good morning, Kaylee.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Kylie. Yeah, hi.
Kylie, sorry.
Kylie, I'm she, her pronouns.
I'm terrible with names. I apologize.
No
and I'll probably mess it up again.
For the record, when I said he or she, I couldn't see anything, so I was not making any prejudgment.
Oh yeah, no, I only say
I felt horrible. So
oh
was
no,
like, oh,
we
God.
can even talk about that. You guys have said so much already. I'm like taking notes. I'm like labels. We'll talk about the rainbow alphabet. We'll talk about.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. No,
Okay.
I just always come into a room letting people know my pronouns. So there are no moments like that. So no worries about it.
Fantastic.
I was just going to call you Kylie.
I love that. That's what I always share with folks. Like if you're ever, just let's talk to each other by name, huh?
Yeah.
I have a friend, a comedian who is a lesbian, and she gets angry if I use the word queer, even if I'm reading it in that context.
I want to talk about that. Can we talk about that from the top?
Yes, please.
All right. Oh, man, I wrote it down because I was like, so interesting. So you hear how like anytime we approach it, we start to get kind of like fucked up and tripped up because it's like, you don't want to offend anyone in the LGBT. I can't even fucking say it. That's why the name of my business is Queerly Attached, right? Let's just make it easier, right?
Right.
So queer, okay? It's one of those words that's kind of like, for so many of us, it's like we're taking it back as a word where it's like, hey, it's okay to be queer. All it means is a little different, right? A little peculiar. It's unfortunate that we're in a world where it is considered queer, right? Where it is like Republican and grinder jokes, right? Like it's an easy societal thing that just comes out because that's what we're taught, right? Like that's just how it is. And so that's what attachment style, where I say it's different when you're queer, is because we are being faced with attachment trauma in our society all the time because we're queer.
Now, my mom, when I was growing up, my mom raised us to believe and actually to say that there's no such thing as bad words, only bad intentions.
Yeah.
And so also I grew up back when people were still in black and white. We hadn't reached colors yet. I'm a little old, almost as old as Matt.
Oh damn.
But queer was definitely when I was a kid.
Yeah, when you were
definitely used as an insult. It was a put down. It was.
So
but
gay,
then
hundreds are rough.
gay. Everything's so gay. That's so gay, right? Like that's messaging.
Well, no, we didn't. Gay wasn't even part of the vocabulary. Gay meant happy when I was. That's how old I am.
So I think that's what Jean's saying is like it changes over time. Words.
Right. But in the 90s, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy came out, and then we felt like, oh, are we supposed to use that word now? I don't know. I didn't. It felt like okay, but there are still people.
Yes, there are
who treat me like if you are a heterosexual, you can't use that word, and I'm like not using it as we did when I was a kid as an insult. I'm just using it as a way to say they're gay, they're homosexual, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just. And dancing around it because it's hard to have conversations like this. Like, what am I allowed to say and what am I not allowed to say?
Yeah. And I think that's where I love Dr. Steve. I wish I could have jumped in while he was on, where we had such similar takes on a lot of it. And I think that's where it's about, he said, be curious. I say, stay curious. Like if we can show up in conversation instead of being like judgmental, and we're just going to be curious about it instead. Like that sets a completely different table, a table of safety, really.
Right. Now, attachment trauma. Now, is that because that sounds like because I've got a friend, well, somebody I know on Facebook. I'm not calling him a friend, who his wife left him or girlfriend left him like 6 months ago, and every day he's on there. Pray she'll come back to me. I'm dying of a broken heart, and all this stuff. That's when you say attachment trauma. That's what that sounds like to me. It's like this guy was too codependent, or just too can't let go of something that wasn't meant to be. Is that what exactly do you mean by attachment trauma?
Yeah. Okay. So attachment trauma, right? So all of us have we've come into the world as these infants who need someone to survive, right? We immediately have these attachment figures.
Not me. I was independent.
Did you have a caregiver? Did you have someone modeling?
I was independent from birth.
So I'm
look
going to
up the word contrarian.
PD, I'm going to go ahead and guess that if we were to talk specifically to you, I bet that we would find you may show up pretty avoidant in conflict. Pretty like, let's just put shit away. I don't want to deal. We don't know how to talk about shit because I'm independent. I don't need any of y'all motherfuckers, right? And also, I'm really scared to talk about emotion and feeling because I've never been in situations where I can do so safely, right? You mentioned the codependent guy. Maybe he's anxious, right? And so that's why it's showing up that way.
So is it wrong for me to want to murder him?
Oh no, not at all.
No.
But it's about you, right? Why does that guy bug you so much, right? It's
I
about
think
being
no,
curious.
I don't. I think it's everybody. Everybody feels that way about him.
Yeah, Matt hasn't met a person he doesn't want to kill.
Yeah. Yes. No. So, but now you say that in somewhere in here that attachment trauma hits harder for gay people, right, or something like that in here.
Well, yeah, let's
Why?
Okay, so the
Why?
attachment trauma. So what is it? It's that we all want connection. We do. That's why you guys are here right now on a podcast, right? It's fun to sit around and bullshit with people. It feels good to have connection. We want it, we desire it, and we seek it, most of us, in relationship. Sometimes with one partner, sometimes with many. However many it is, you're creating connection with someone that you have no control over. And they have and are showing up with their own baggage, their own experiences, that they have made it mean something about them, just like you. Everything that's happened to you, you've made it mean something about you so that you can move on and survive in this external environment, in this internal world that we actually live in. You have to make it mean something so you can show up every day. It's easier to do that because risking disconnection is way scarier than disconnecting from self. We do it all the time with people pleasing, with boundaries. It's what we're taught to do, is just give it away so you can show up and not be rejected and not be abandoned. Makes way more sense and it feels safer, but it's cutting us out of opportunities to connect, opportunities to be vulnerable, authentic. We can't do it. We can't do it. We don't know how. We've never been taught.
Now, Matt, I have a question for Matt real quick. Matt, we know that Steven and Ron are both looking for jobs so they can leave us. So if one of them leaves, can we have Kylie as a replacement?
I like
Kylie.
You know what?
Bullshitting.
It probably would fit one of the columns in the DEI.
I mean, to the diversity column. Yeah,
hold on. Now,
you guys
Matt,
need a fucking lesbian on the show.
Yeah, we do.
Well, if you're going after DEI, qualifications and write-offs, one, GD, I can't leave. I can't work. My doctor won't clear me, so I'm stuck here.
Oh no, you can watch. See?
Oh, he's gone.
True.
Okay.
But Ron's the only one with the privilege here that can go get any job he wants. So.
Oh, not true. Not true.
I know it's not true, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kylie. I do actually have in your little blurb here, it says that you were subjected to the Pray Gay Away. What's it called? The Pray the Gay Away.
Yeah, Pray the Gay. I mean, that's it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now, my question, because my mother was afraid that I might grow up to be gay because one, I was in touch with my feelings as a child, and two, my father he had indiscriminate sex with different genders. It didn't matter. Okay. So my mother was worried that I would grow up gay. So. But instead of the Pray Away Gay, she actually did the gay rebellion therapy.
Yeah.
Where how children are automatically rebellious against their parents regardless of what. So she's like, yeah, be gay. If you want to be gay, be gay.
Like reverse psychology. Be gay, but she'd subject you to gay porn and shit.
Yes,
you're gonna watch this.
Yes, and then it's not realizing that no matter what she did, I was going to grow up to be the way I am anyway.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure. No, I'm not going to answer this for Kylie, but I had a reaction to the worried you might be gay. I think you accept your children for what they are, and you don't really worrying about it means you're already putting a negative on it.
That's queer attachment. That's queer attachment. Imagine your mother being worried that you're going to be exactly who you are. Oh my God, we better change it.
I'll explain why she was worried, at least the way I understand it. It wasn't because she was homophobic or anything like that. It was a relationship issue. My mother, couldn't grasp the fact that my father liked sleeping with. It's not that my father was gay or straight. My father just liked sex and would have stuck his penis in anything that consented. So that's it. Now, and my mom thought that she was competing. My mother felt like she can compete with another woman, but she could not compete with another man. And so she wanted me to be to be the antithesis of my father. That's all it was. It wasn't a matter of me being. She just didn't like.
I would have been more worried that you'd grow up to be an obnoxious contrarian, and it did happen.
That runs in a family.
Yeah, no. But remember back in the Trump presidency, there was a mass shooting in Colorado, and this caveman of a father, the kid got arrested for it. The father, caveman father, was on, and he was not upset that his son was a mass murderer, but he refused to accept the fact that his son was gay. He's like, not my boy, not gay. No. He didn't want to even address the mass shooting thing. All he wanted the press to stop saying his son was gay. That's basically where we're still at in America.
We are definitely. It seems that when you hear about these younger folks coming out, it seems that there may not be a closet so much to come out of anymore, which is great, which is fantastic. But here's the problem: we talk a lot about the coming out, and we don't talk enough about the being in, which is where we're talking about where this attachment wounding is happening. You just shared about a Republican father who didn't want to blah blah blah, right? That kid grew up with that guy. Hearing that messaging, right. Hearing him speak to millions about that messaging. Of course, he made that mean something about him. He had to keep living with this man, and this man hated him. Right. So you make the world mean something so that you can move through it and feel safe. But in the end, you end up boxing yourself in. You don't know who the fuck you are. You don't want to be alone, because when you sit alone, you get bugged with that question of like, I don't know who I am. And that's freaky. I don't know if that ever happens to men, but a lot of my female clients, that's what we're saying, where it's like you're alone and you're like, oh shit, I don't know who the fuck I really am. Who am I without someone in front of me? And that is this feeling of like, I'm abandoned, I'm rejected. So I'll do anything to be in connection with someone. We don't speak up for ourselves when our feelings have been hurt, right?
Well,
when we're not feeling safe in a room, we just disconnect. Right? We numb out, we mute out, we're not feeling safe, so we're not going to check in. But imagine the connection that you're missing out on when you could turn to the person and say, hey, that made me feel something. Can I talk about what that made me feel? Because I don't want to make it mean something that it doesn't. Every time you do that, you cut connection and you cut an entire new multiverse that you could be in. Just choices. Multiverse. All the time we're blowing past, and it's creating these new worlds, these new lives, right? That's my history. You talked a little bit about the coming up Mormon, right? My history was I got caught at 16 with my best friend, right? My parents read a note or something. We were busted. My whole world flips, right? My parents loved this friend. And so because they had that mindset of gay is wrong, you can't be gay. We are Mormon. You definitely can't be gay. That wouldn't look good. And you've got to serve a mission and become a wife. And all this messaging I'm coming up with, that my only role as a woman is to be a mother and a wife to a husband. That fucks with you when you realize at 16, I'm not into it. And so you're with your best friend, your parents find out, and then they decide, nope, we don't love her like we just said we did last week. We actually don't want you being in band anymore or at that high school anymore, right? Like my world was threatened. So what did I do? I absolutely got back in line and did my damnedest and tried. That shit I then take into gay relationships. Imagine why I'm anxious. Imagine why I'm scared. And I'm always like, oh shit, we can't be in conflict because you might leave me. And I make it mean I'm not enough. Y'all do it too. Everyone does it. All that shit that the doctor was talking about on here that you guys loved, all of that stuff has a reason underneath it, and it's attachment shit. Something happened to them in relationship enough times that they made it mean I don't matter, and that shit roots in. You carry it around.
Now, my theory about men and maturity has been for years. I developed this theory when I was in my 20s, is that men are emotionally as mature as their last heartbreak when that happens. So if they were 6 years old when they had their heart broken, they stay 6. Even if they grow to be 17, when something emotional happens, they resort back to that 6-year-old child until their next heartbreak. And if their next heartbreak happens at 18, then they stay 18 until their next heartbreak, which is, let's say, 30. Then even if they're 29 and they have a situation where they have to get emotional, they react like that 18-year-old who got heartbroken.
Yep.
That's a theory that I developed when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, you're wrong.
There's an actual theory called internal family systems, and that's parts work is what you're describing. Every time that shit happens, that 6-year-old part comes up and says, oh, I fucking remember what happened, and this was bad. So let's remember what we did back then. That's attachment styles. They're just strategies. They're just things you've learned to get back to connection. So at 6, that's
I go back to be
so at 17, I know how to handle it.
My whatever it is, when I revert back to that immaturity it's before I even had any relationships. I am a 12-year-old who, but that's where I revert back to. And I had no relationships. I had no heartbreaks at that time. I didn't even understand what love it was in any way.
Your heart doesn't necessarily have to be breaking because of that kind of relationship. Your heart could be broken because you were disillusioned by something. So let's say you believed in Santa Claus and they go, it's no such thing as Santa Claus. And that's, and that could be your heartbreak.
I don't know. I go back to, actually, I'm just saying in my case, and of course I am not typical in any way. I am as abnormal as the 8 billion people walking the planet. But I go back to happy-go-lucky. I was, for all intents and purposes, I was the golden years. The Fred Savage character, just a happy-go-lucky, perfect suburban white boy upbringing. And innocent in a lot of ways. So that's where I revert back to.
Well, and the reason why is because it doesn't have to be in romantic. This is attachment. You guys are in attachment to each other. You guys are in connection to each other. I am sure on this show there have been moments where one of you has pissed off the other, and you've probably sat there and just burned and haven't been able to do or say anything. And then maybe you didn't ever talk to each other about it, and then it happens again. Imagine compounding.
I just take them up to the roof and throw them off.
Great. That's probably because you probably trend towards avoidant instead of sitting them down and being like, hey, that actually was a little hard to hear it come out that way. Oh my God. Could you imagine?
I'll listen to them all the way down while they're going out.
Right? And what does that tell him? I can't be for real. I can't share feelings for real. Emotional safety is being set in connection all the time. It's not romantic relationship. It's attachment, right? Office, coworkers, like school. I have to go to the school and network with moms. Do I love that? Not all the time. I hate small talk, if you can imagine. And so I don't want to go up and do that. And there might be moms that I know don't jive with me or I don't jive with them. You have to dance and do this thing. Why? Because we self-abandon, and that's the actual heartbreak. It's not the heartbreak from you and whatever person. It's you look back on these relationships or moments and you go, damn, I didn't stand up for me. And then you see nobody's out here standing up for me and I'm not standing up for me. No wonder I keep looking out in the world thinking nobody thinks I matter. Well, you're telling yourself you don't fucking matter every single time you push these feelings out the door and say, fuck off. Those feelings are coming from your literal body, you guys. That's the problem. We're so disconnected from our body, and we're training men and little boys that they definitely should not connect to their bodies. And if anything, disconnect from your mind as well and fuck off with spirit. We're going to co-opt that as well. It's just your intuition, but we're scared if you have that shit. So we're going to take it and call it the spirit, right? I'm getting hyper because that's my life. That's what I came up through. And so at some point for me, it was at 40 years old, I planted a flag and said, I'm not going to self-abandon anymore. Fuck you. This is mine. This is my time. So no, I'm not going to just come out here and not act like anything. No, I'm not going to act at all. I'm done acting.
I like that. I like you, Kylie.
Thank you.
I like you. You're smart. And I all right, Matt, which one do we get rid of so we can keep Kylie?
We don't have to get rid of anyone, y'all. We want to spread the mic. We want to be diverse. We want to share.
The problem is it's not a matter of them. It's a matter of the formats down here. At the very bottom, we have like these little formats.
I don't think y'all can handle it for as long as this show goes on. I could come on in clips. You'll just come on. I'll do attachment with one of y'all. It happens all the time in every moment. I'll come on. We'll do a little attachment with Kai.
All right, Matt, you heard it. She just pitched it. I say yes.
All right.
Okay. Ron, what do you say?
One of three. Steven's like, fuck off.
Ron is just
I am so uncomfortable right now.
I'm not mildly uncomfortable. Not even a little bit. No, you're good.
Ron is our HR guy. What do you say, Ron?
That's what he says.
Sure. That's an affirmative answer.
That's him. Thank you, Ron. Thank you for that commentary.
That's a raving endorsement from Ron. If he doesn't say anything, that's a raving endorsement. If he doesn't like you, he goes like,
"No, let's get people hating me or saying or thinking bad of me."
I'll join you.
I know. His favorite part.
I have two different gender-wise in the gay community. I have two different reactions. Lesbians hate me. Gay guys love me. Generally, first instincts. And lesbians want to beat me up or just like verbally beat me up. Gay guys want to be my best friend, and I am homophobic about one-on-one friendships. I love everybody. I love the gay community. I'm all for gay rights and all that stuff. But one-on-one, I am definitely. I recognize my own homophobia when a guy who is gay wants to be too close friends with me and hang out late at night one-on-one. Hey, I'm still feeling like you're gonna hit on me now, and this is time for me to check out.
So you ghost them probably and just never talk again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Instead of saying, hey,
no, not ghost him. I talk to him online only, but I will explain it with honesty. I felt uncomfortable. I feel what heterosexual women feel. Yeah, I feel. Yeah, I feel what a heterosexual woman feels when a guy she's not attracted to wants to get out of the friend zone and be with her. That's what I feel with my gay friends who want to be in too close one-on-one situation. If there's a room full, because I used to be in the hairdressing business, and I would be in a room full of gay men and not feel threatened by that. But the minute it gets one-on-one.
And so what is it? What's the fear? Why does it feel predatory? Like,
it's exactly what I just.
What's gonna happen?
They're going to try to come. Here's what it is. They're going to try to come on to me. I'm going to have to say, no, I'm not into that.
And oh my God,
and then
that's scary to stand up for myself and say, oh, actually, I'm not good with that. You see,
right.
Like we do it all the time. Oh, look at that guy. What's up?
Yeah.
Like we got a really sexy Wookiee in the top left.
Yeah, I got
Yeah, I love that.
I've got the weirdest boner right now.
I bet, man. That was a little close.
Man, I tell you what, I think I felt my legs move.
He likes cavemen.
Emphasis on the cave.
So it's that I feel like if I have to explain this to you, that we can't be friends anymore because I know when a woman has rejected me, it's like we're not friends anymore. That friendship,
something about you,
right?
Because you make it mean something about it, and it's too uncomfortable to go back and be like, gosh, I kind of made this mean something. So I just want to come back and get clarity. I know you told me you were uncomfortable one-to-one with me. Is it because I'm gay? Oh, no, not at all. It's because I can now.
No, yes.
Homophobia when it's in one.
I don't say no. I say yes. It's because you're gay.
And then he'll say, oh, gosh, can we talk about that? Because I don't have any feelings for you like that. No offense. Right? Like we get in these spaces and we're so terrified to set these boundaries. We people please. And when we get too scared, we just check out. Right? It's just we're missing connection all the time. I don't know how many of those men actually wanted you, but it's probably a lot smaller than you think. But because you already know you feel this way, it's going to make everything feel heightened, because every situation you go into, you're walking in with core beliefs and limiting beliefs that may not be true. And Dr. Stephen talked about that. You've got to question the story that's going on up here. We're walking around in a narrative all the time.
Yeah. What about because I do have lots of lesbian comedians who I know.
Who are these lesbian comedians? I want to hear some names. Drop some goddamn names.
Well, Kristen Becker wants to kick my ass without a doubt.
All right. We're gonna check her out.
And she runs a comedy thing in Provincetown, Rhode Island, which is it's a very gay
lesbian
community.
Capital of the world, apparently. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I couldn't say good morning without her getting angry at me. And she's not the only one. There are people, definitely lesbian women feel like I'm somebody they need to get set straight on things.
And what if one of those lesbians had, instead of being that way with you, had been comfortable enough to say, hey, here's something that I've noticed when I'm in connection with you. I've noticed I feel, who knows what it is. Something you do irritates them, right? What if one had been safe enough and honest and authentic and vulnerable to say it to you, and then that would have changed your entire narrative about all lesbians hate me. I do something, they just hate me. But one could have told you, hey, it's actually your breath's really bad, man. Like that could have changed your life.
You want an honest answer? If one did that, I'd be turned on by that.
And then they would say, I also am uncomfortable that you were turned on by that. And that right there.
Heterosexual men love the idea of lesbianism. I don't know if I speak for all heterosexual men, but I speak for all the guys I've ever hung out with. We have a thing. Lesbianism is hot.
That lends to our queer attachment wounds, right? Every time you sensationalize it, that's sending a message to young lesbians, right? That all they're good for is men's pleasure. So that's not real. So then they begin questioning, right? We're telling each other stories all the time.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that's all they're good for. That because I would say no. You have. I'm sure you have plenty of redeeming qualities. It's one thing I think you got a good check mark in your column.
Yeah, I can't agree with the whole lesbian thing, man. Because as much as I love the whole lesbians being hot thing, my porn is useless if there's not a big, crazy, veiny member involved. So, just saying.
I don't know what you meant.
If there's not a huge dick involved, I can't watch it.
Oh, I did not know that about you, Ron White.
Does it have to be huge?
No, the thing is, when I heard Ron White make the joke, for me it wasn't a joke. I felt like exposed a little.
So maybe
I think that was super.
You need to question the story up here.
No, I think it was dope. He just said that instead of
it's super true because my wife was like, "Hey, let's watch some porn together," and she was like, "Let's watch Girl on Girl," and I'm like.
Right. And she could have made that mean that you're gay, but she didn't. She was just like, "Oh, cool. That doesn't mean shit about you."
Yeah, she was like, "Okay, cool. That's fine." But
exactly. But someone else could have judged you and made it mean something about you, and then they move on with this narrative about you, and it's just it's just my porn preference.
Yeah, I only use lesbian porn to like advice for like certain foreplay actions. That's about it. Education purposes.
All right, I don't know where the porn came into this discussion, but okay.
You said all guys think lesbianism is hot.
That has nothing to do with porn.
It's definitely got a sexual overtone.
Well, if you watch porn, I don't. I mean, I'm not a big porn fan. I mean, I just
think positioned it as I think lesbian couples are a beautiful thing, and I think most guys would agree. But you said hot.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. Here's a little anecdote about in Santa Fe, New Mexico. There was a blonde woman who I found very attractive. I offered to buy her a drink. She rejected and then walked away. I was standing out on the street with my friend, and she was inside the club then, right by the front window, and she knocked on the front window and then grabbed a girl and started making out with her. And I was like, wow! I thought that was hot, and I thought it was. And she stopped for a second and gave me a finger because she was mad that I wasn't like hurt by it. I was, wow, that's pretty cool. Don't stop on my account. But she was angry. She wanted to punch me then for being that way.
Matt Napo, straight men gay and gay women straight since 1930, whenever he was born.
I don't think I've ever
you have to understand, and if this is like this, it seems like this you guys have been talking to people today who have been basically trying to say it comes back to you, right? It's not about them. It comes back to you, right? And it comes back to how curious do you want to be in an environment that you're in, right? If she was upset by that, right? And you really were curious, right? You could say, I'm sorry that I upset you. I would love to know why that's upsetting. I don't want to be upsetting people, right? And she could have shared with you, I actually feel like because of these experiences I had back in college and where men were constantly pushing, right? She's got some whole narrative and some story and experience that she has experienced where men looking at her that way, talking about her doing what she does naturally, just like you fucking women is natural, feels a certain way. And so we just continue perpetuating that instead of just going, oh, God, that did upset you. I'm sorry.
That definitely has a ring of truth in it. My one interaction I remember with Kristen Becker, again, coming back to her, there was somebody who posted, a girl who posted, she was doing a bit from Willy Wonka, but I didn't know. I was not familiar with this. And she was crying during reading this like narrative from Willy Wonka. And I reposted and saying, what's wrong with this woman? And she came back saying, you just hate women crying. Something about a woman's tears triggers you. I was like, no, it has nothing to do with that. It's like, it seemed like something really stupid to get emotional about. And then she was like, and then she explained to me it was Willy Wonka. And I said, well, I never saw Willy Wonka. I didn't know anything about that. Well, I'm just thinking is I see this video of this thing. And then she, oh, you hate Willy Wonka. You're a Willy Wonka hater. Well, fuck you. But she jumped right to that narrative that I just hate women crying. Like, no, not that doesn't trigger me. I believe me, I made a lot of women cry without knowing why half the time.
It's your face.
But at least initially not. But her story, what she had a backstory that I'm a guy who just can't take women crying, and that's why I'm being mean about this thing. And it's just like, no, I just don't understand it.
Right. And you have a backstory to explain why, instead of being able to sit and like be regulated and help someone else feel safe, not be able to just say, oh, I just didn't understand. Right. Like we get these little defenses, we get these little things that make it almost impossible. I say it like this. We are taught to show up and contend instead of show up and connect. That is absolutely the way that we are taught, and the messaging that we receive, whether we're watching our parents, watching others, watching kids talk to each other at school. It's wild. And the parents, we hand it down to our children, this emotional dysregulation. We expect these kids to behave in better ways than we're ever capable of behaving, right? And we just have these demands that affects them as they grow up. And so if we can be cycle breakers and stop this shit, right? If we can actually be like, hold on, this feels like a really weird way to live, so disconnected from me. Like there's so many of us who are at this age who are just now figuring it out. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. Those parts, those 6-year-olds, those 17-year-old parts, they are still inside you hurting. And if you can learn to turn inward instead of pushing everything out, you can actually sit and see, God, it makes sense my 6-year-old is hurt. It makes sense everyone shows up like a busted inner child. No one is tending to these inner parts. And the truth is, you are the adult that you've been waiting for. You have to be the safe adult in any situation. If you can't show up and know that you're going to be regulated no matter what, that nobody else has the power to destabilize you, it makes sense why we're all out here with all these strategies to keep us as safe as possible and away from contrary opinion, away from conflict, so we don't have to do the thing, which is just uphold your boundaries and go after your own needs first, right? Instead of disconnecting and giving it all away and then sitting there going, damn it, nobody cares about me. This is bullshit. It's a story, man. Like if you can drop the fucking victimhood for a second, right? Victims are real and people being victimized is real, but we victimize ourselves with our story all the time in our heads, all the time.
It's well, forgiveness is hard, and personal forgiveness, to forgiving yourself is even harder.
Coach. I'm literally a coach for that reason. If I could really just, every time they ask you, what are you? And you have to be like, ugh, life coach. Dude, I'm a self-abandonment coach. Like it is so hard to come back from that road without a guide because you don't have a touch point. You don't know what you're coming back to. This is a reconstruction. We are literally breaking it back. There's no more like, I'm making it work. We're going to start with making it safe and then see the work isn't as hard as you think it is. And it definitely doesn't have to take as long as years and years in therapy because this shit is actionable. We're going to show up every day. We're going to work on it. It's a practice. I'm a coach. Let's go fucking get it. It's that kind of mentality. It's just about turning you back into you. And when you connect back to you, if you find out you don't know who you are, be curious and start to fucking create. It's exciting. It's freedom. It's future building. You're fucking choosing your own adventure out here. It's power.
And I wanted to talk to Dr. Solomon about this with comedians in general, well, and for performers in generally.
Dr. Solomon, I would love to be on your podcast.
No, I would too. And when he starts to have guests, I don't know if he's still listening, but I'll definitely let him know that you are. But this idea of performance stage people, we are always putting on who we want to be, right? It's like in comedy they call it finding your voice, but in music, you play the part of a rock star, but you're not. That's not you. That's not the you that lives every day. So there's part of adopting a persona on stage, which feels fake, but I don't know if it truly is fake or it's more the real you.
It's your creation
that is up there.
Yeah.
What?
I think in that way, it's your creation. Like it's an actual tangible. If you're a performer, you know that you have to create a mask. You have to, right? But the
is
thing
it healthy?
Being able to, Of course, if that's your job, you want to show up and do your job well, but can you leave your job at job, right? Can you leave job and be able to take mask off so that you can, this is me. This is me.
That's a problem with me with acting.
No, Stephen can't.
When I've done some acting roles where director says cut, and I'm still in character for 3 days.
Yes, and I can imagine the energy pull.
If I took off the mask and the comedy blinders, I would drive headfirst into a semi.
Yeah, because it's probably really sad. And honestly, a lot of comedians, look, I feel like I'm a little funny. I don't know. I don't got like a type 5 or anything, but right. Like I bet there's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of sadness where I've got to make this shit funny because otherwise I'm going to fucking cry. Like this is terrible.
Right. Yeah.
I've got to make this funny so I can move the fuck on through it because we don't have another choice, right? We do, or it's driving into a wall and that choice doesn't feel real or right. Right. And so you're like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to keep masking the fuck up and get better at it. It's exhausting. Your head is constantly talking to itself.
Right.
And then I go on stage and I let it vomit on stage and everyone else gets to suffer.
We're out here, these attachment wounds, we're bleeding on everyone.
You talk about not knowing who you are, though. And I had a friend who was a makeup artist, and he was a victim of the pray away the gay people. I think Michelle Bachmann's husband actually was the person who tried to pray away his gay. But we had a long discussion about can that, praying away the gay. I'm not a believer in that, but can somebody about whether somebody is actually physically, genetically born to be gay or heterosexual, and whether you can actually make that decision. I'm of the belief that we can decide to be whatever we want in any moment and live that life if we choose to. We have the freedom to do that. Most heterosexual people are too afraid to admit that they could choose to be gay if they wanted.
If we didn't grow up in a society that was heteronormative, I think you guys, you talked earlier in the hour with Dr. Steven about spectrums. Well, attachment's on a spectrum. I think there is a sexuality spectrum, right? And so things could be very much more fluid than they are if people didn't have the shame behind it. And think of all the shaming comments and shaming jokes. Like it's hard. It's a hard call to make. It's bullshit that it's 2024 and we're out here going, yes, I think everyone deserves rights. Fuck off. Can we just have it already and be done with it and stop acting like we should vote on this and judge on this and strip rights? Like fuck off. Like let's go. Do you know that we're paying like fucking $9 for milk? This is insane. And we're out here worrying about what's going on in other people's private lives. Like fuck off.
That's why I like being lactose intolerant. I am not going to pay $9 for milk.
I don't really either pay $9, but it's absurd. I don't even want to check my bank account. It's never been that way with me, but it's terrible out there. And so why are we so fucking worried about any of this shit that has to do with, I just want to be a human showing up in my skin, having a human being experience, right? Human being. Right. I would like to be, please. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Well, part of the, and I'm going to give you the complete conservative bigot perspective on this thing is that I feel like if I don't understand it, you owe me at least that much to help me understand it. Where you don't have to understand it as long as it doesn't hurt you. It's not affecting your life directly. You should just let it go.
I know.
But
let me pin it then as a coach, because this is fantastic mind. I'm about to blow your mind with this. Are you ready? You just said,
yes.
This is your limiting belief. Are you ready? If I don't understand it, I feel like you at least owe me. Okay, why? What does it feel like? Just a feeling word. What does it feel like when you don't feel like you're understanding something?
Feels stupid. It feels
stupid.
Dumb.
I feel stupid. And then when you feel stupid, then what happens?
I don't like myself very much.
I don't like myself. Do you see how fast? I don't understand you. So I feel stupid and now I don't like myself. So that means you fucking owe me an explanation.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right.
Fucking wild. And you're showing up walking around with that all the time, that belief telling you that's the way. Think about how much connection you missed because you showed up with this belief. If I don't understand something, you fucking owe me an explanation at the very least. What? No, sir. You owe yourself an understanding of why do I feel stupid and like I'm not enough when I don't understand something? You are going to be constantly feeling triggered because you cannot understand everything that's going on out here ever.
I agree with everything you just said, and that's why I say you don't really have to understand. It's not for you to understand somebody else's life. You don't.
Or maybe it is, and you just need to ask and say, I don't understand, and that makes me feel stupid, and I know that it's not true that I am, so I would love to understand you. It's about, do you want to understand them, sir, or do you want to understand you? In that moment, you're really just trying to understand you. You're not really giving a fuck about who they are. You're trying to figure out why you feel stupid by this and why you don't understand it. But really, if you're truly wanting to connect, the truth is to say, I don't understand you, and I would love to understand you. Can I hold space now while you share your perspective that I know nothing about and want to know more? I will probably feel stupid during this. I will manage that. I will manage this trigger while I hold space for this because I am the one asking because I don't understand it. We don't owe anyone, right? Black people don't owe us education on fucking racism. We need to go out there and learn to be fucking anti-racist, right? I don't owe you an explanation on pronouns. I don't owe you an explanation on lesbian, but I do know that I want to walk through this world understood. So I'm out here educating so that I'm not faced with bald white men who are upset all of a sudden just because they looked at me and they don't understand me. So they believe I need to turn to them and go, it's she, her, sir. No, man, fuck off. Go deal with whatever you have. Let me be, and you go figure out why you can't be. You just keep doing, right?
I just want to say I choose to be bald. I could choose to be hairy.
I won't pick on it. You're right. I don't like actually talking about people's bodies.
I do.
Thank you for letting me know that. I apologize for
that. You don't have to apologize.
No,
but no, I am.
Thank you.
I you know what? Everything you said makes sense to me, and I agree with it. I am almost consumed with self introspection and trying to figure out who I am in almost every moment of every day. I don't, that's why I don't really want to know what makes other people who they are. I mean, I'm interested in their backstory, but I'm more interested in what they can teach me in ways. But at the end of the day, I'm still every day I'm trying to figure out who the fuck am I. And what that? Why was I even born? That is the question I ask myself every day. What am I supposed to be living for?
I know when I was growing up, my theory was that we have a difficult time learning to know ourselves, and because we can't know ourselves, we surround ourselves with people who are mirrors of the things we want to know about ourselves.
Yep. That's
and then
shadow work.
If you examine the mirrors that you surround yourself with, you'll kind of get to know what you were all about.
Yep.
But of course, I was only 14, and it was just a theory, and I was called crazy.
You sound a little bit like Willie now, I got to tell you.
Or they could just be assholes too.
Ron, he speaks. You've been so mysterious.
Ron's kind of wounded though. He's definitely wounded.
Ron.
But he has this. I don't know what it is. He a lingerie fetish. That he imposes on
something like that.
He projects that onto other people. Whenever somebody is contrary to him, he accuses them of dressing up in lingerie, talking about men mostly.
No, that's only the weak guys that love to wear lingerie and fight people in wheelchairs.
No, why is that weak? Couldn't there be a strong person, a strong man who just happens to like dressing up? And I'm not just saying.
Yeah, it could be. Absolutely,
he's strong or weak, but
someone
if you're
who enjoys
fighting somebody in a wheelchair.
Yeah, see, Matt, that's what he was. Ron wasn't condoning. Ron wasn't saying that he picks on men wearing lingerie, just the weak man. If a strong man wants to wear lingerie, that's fine.
And so, what is a strong man? What is a strong man?
Yeah, Ron. What is
probably wears his lingerie on the outside.
Chris Hemsworth is a strong man.
Yeah, my son just got a haircut like Thor Ragnarok. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
Thor can rag my rock. I swear to God, Randy. Yeah, that's a pretty man right there. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I don't know any of these references. I'm sorry, but I'm culturally unhip. What part of the world are you in? I'm assuming in the United States, but where can we narrow it down geographically?
Yeah, I'm just outside of Kansas City, Missouri, on the Kansas side.
Ooh,
wow.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Go Chiefs.
Yeah, thank you. And go Casey Current, our women's soccer team. We are crushing Patrick Mahomes. His wife is an owner, right? And we're number 1 right now in the league. Go Casey Current.
Wow.
Because the attitudes about the things you're talking about are very different in different parts of the country. We have very different cultures. And
I've lived in Argentina. Yeah. I've lived in Idaho. I just moved back to Kansas. I was born and raised here, and then at 18, I went all over everywhere. So
wow.
Yeah.
So what place? Okay, if
I served a mission in Argentina.
If you're like 5 minutes left to live, and they're like, your life flashes before your eyes. Yeah. Which place that you lived in is going to be one of those flashes? The last place you want to think of.
You could say that's a good question.
It's my son's face. I mean, I am a mother, right? Like you say 5 minutes, what's the last second? It's my son's face. But I loved Rexburg, Idaho. And honestly, it's a town that's 98% Mormon. That's where I went to college. I went to a Mormon school. But Idaho, Yellowstone, the Tetons, like it is just gorgeous. That's my happy place. I would love to be back there. But here I am in Kansas. So we are, accepting our reality and moving through.
Well, you all are fixing Kansas one amendment at a time. So
yeah.
Go Kansas.
Thank you.
Now, maybe this is about me if we're coming back to this whole thing. But I have a thing that he is obsessed with asking meaningless questions like that.
But they mean something to me.
No, I love it. That's a great question. They're great questions.
You do?
I lived in Argentina as a Mormon missionary. I would like to go back, but obviously I only really
that wasn't the question where you like the most. He said if you had 5 minutes to live,
it would be Idaho.
Flash before your eyes.
Idaho. I even lived in an RV for a year with my husband at the time and our 5-year-old. We did all of the RVing life, and then COVID happened. So
you say with your husband, were you talking male?
Yeah, I was married for 10 years when I went back to the church. Yep. We didn't even talk about my life, y'all. You don't even want to. Well, you'll hear it eventually, but
no, you don't have to. But that's
really what I've been out here interviewing about is my sensational backstory. So, but I've loved this conversation because I love talking about this stuff. Yes, my story is what it is.
I'm sure you're going to get a invitation to be on GD So Funny, whatever that's. That dopey podcast is, and it will be like 7 hours long, and he'll cut it up into like 15 episodes or something like that. And it'll be lots of questions like that.
Right.
If you had to pick between a duck and a chicken and a dog,
those are never one of my questions. Now I would ask. Now this is a question I would ask, because it's usually comedians, and I'll say of the places you've performed, what's your favorite smelling place and your worst smelling place?
Oh God!
Because the sense of smell is so powerful, and so but I'm sure there's but that's what I'd be asking, things like that.
Yeah, that sounds very thoughtful.
Stephen, you're shaking your head, Stephen. Why were you shaking your head?
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised, but you get good answers with questions like that because people go like, "Wow, I remember this one place I performed that smelled like such and such." Because the sense of smell is very, very, very powerful, and it's very triggering as well.
What's that mustache smell like? I've wondered.
No, you don't.
I don't wonder. That's the first time I've ever even thought about it. But it is quite a mustache, sir.
So now, queerlyattached.net is where people go. Now we have the link to attachment quiz. Yeah. How long does the quiz?
Short. It's like 13 questions. It's just fun. I honestly, guys, I keep saying, queer relationships are different. You may not relate to a lot of it. Your answers will probably be all avoidant, but it's meant to be a fun, really think about how you show up in situation of conflict. So it's just 13 questions. Right. Get on.
Go ahead, ask them. Ask us the questions.
Oh, I don't have it pulled up. I'd have to we could
go there and take the quiz. I'll take the quiz.
Do it, man. We can do it right now.
Yeah.
Do it right now. Take it. Yeah. You just click a little linky.
We just lost Stephen, or that caveman just ate him. I think. Just chopped him up.
Yeah, pull it up. There's just a couple little if if your partner is planning a surprise party that you don't want, how do you what's your reply? How do you show up? And it's questions like that. Some are very anxious responses, secure responses, avoidant.
I run my car through the house.
Yeah, so you probably would you would find an answer on this quiz. The quiz is meant to be funny. Y'all are comedians. You should definitely pull it up.
I know my wife, when I turned 60, my wife says, we need to throw a party for you for turning 60. And I said, I don't want a party. Oh. And she says, and I said, honey, I don't like parties. I don't know how to relax unless I'm entertaining. I can't be the center. I can't just be a passive center of attention. I have to be the entertainment. Yeah. And so we compromised and we threw a 60th birthday party, but it was a comedy show. So that everybody there could, say happy birthday. But I got to do my part and I got to perform for an hour.
Because you spoke up for your need instead of people pleasing and saying, okay, because that's what she really wants and it's going to make her happy. You had an amazing birthday party where you really did give yourself the spotlight. That's fucking core memory shit. Good job.
But I tend to speak up. I really not. I don't really avoid things.
He has the opposite effect on people than I do. Lesbians love him and gay guys hate him.
Oh, they
want to beat him up.
I want to coach you just on this hate thing. No one hates you. Okay, I am really enjoying sitting across from you right now, and I am a lesbian. So if your always story is true, it is no longer.
You know what? I've not had the hate from either side. I go to the gay bar once a week. And I've never had an issue with anyone. So you can figure it out, Matt.
All right.
I
looks like one of them followed you home.
Steven, are you gay? I haven't asked. Are you gay?
I am not.
Oh, you're not gay. Okay.
I do have a mission to make him 43% gay this week while he's staying with me. That's the goal. 43%.
It doesn't sound like it's going to take much.
No, it's really been easy.
Kurt Cobain said everyone is gay.
Yeah, so. Obviously.
Kurt Cobain said it.
Worst smelling bar to perform at was Pope's Pub in Fruitport. It was terrible.
All right. We do have to go, but the Mormon stuff I'm interested in. Polygamy is still a part of it, or no?
No, it's not.
That's old. That's old order Mormon, right?
Yeah, it's definitely old order. They were really late to it, and they did stop doing it. But of course, what do you do when so many have already made all these families? So those families kind of, I guess, I don't know where they went. I don't know a lot about polygamy.
Grandfathered in.
Yeah, I know it's there's television shows shit now. I don't know a lot about. I know they have. I've watched enough documentaries that there can be very abusive situations. So just there's that. So
yeah, religion. And Dr. Solomon didn't want to even discuss this, but I feel like I have no problem with people having any faith or belief system when they want to have and all that stuff. But I do feel like when they organize, it becomes dangerous.
I agree.
I've always told people it's not the belief in God that's the problem; it's the religion.
Yeah,
it's the organization.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
But guys, religion is the most example of everything I've been talking about. It's what we fucking make it mean, right? It's what you make it mean. It's what this Bible means in this one, and it's all fucking up here, y'all. It's construct.
Right. Well, thank you for being part of the program. I hope you do get in touch with Dr. Solomon and end up on his podcast. I'm going to subscribe to that today. And
I want to.
Please do come back sometime.
I got a lot going on. So you can find me at Clearly Attached. I'm doing local Kansas City workshops. They've been selling out. That's been awesome. I'm doing a conflict clinic, and everything's going to be moving online. Courses. I'm just out here trying to spread the damn word.
Very cool.
Shit is wrecking our lives and our relationships. So
I like you. I wish you luck. I like you. I want you to be successful.
Oh, thank you so much.
I would not put that on your resume that he likes you.
That's true.
Damn.
That's true.
Well, do you like me, my dog? Come on, what's up?
I do. No, I
can leave then.
I am genuinely very happy to have made your acquaintance today, and hope you will come back sometime. I enjoy listening to you. You made a lot of sense, and I not that I have to agree with everything you say, but I did agree with just about everything you said.
Oh, hey, that's not bad.
That made it easy. But I would love to have you back if you would come back.
Were you worried about having a lesbian on?
Oh, no.
Listen, again, I know a lot of people don't like me. It's not just lesbians. A lot of people don't like me. If you're in the public and I am in the public eye somewhat, you're going to find out pretty quickly that you can't please everybody. You know,
and you don't
some
have to.
people are not going to like you.
To please you, and then you know how to move to keep yourself pleased and at ease. I just thought.
What if I want to try to please everybody?
Well, you can. There you go. We know you want to, Steven. I can't wait till you come fucking out of that closet, man. I'm here for you, brother.
Yeah.
And Ron, good to meet you, sir. And GD, I would love to be on a show with you. So, guys, I really enjoyed this. And
thank you.
My show is usually for comedians, but I will make the exception. I enjoy talking to you. I think we could actually make it somehow comedian because actually.
Oh, I can make it funny, man. I can make it funny.
Well, not only that, but comedians have. If they don't have issues, then they're not fun. No, they don't not.
That's
comedians.
it.
Yeah.
We're all speaking from a place of pain. That would be a good show right there, GD. We should talk on the side. Attachment and comedy. We get on and have them talk about the hard shit. That would be some shit.
Yeah.
Is there? Can I reach you through? Can I reach you through that?
Yeah. Here, write this down.
I'll send you the info.
Hello@queerlyattached.net. Email me, yeah.
Hello@queerlyattached.net.
All right, guys, it's such a pleasure. I had no idea when I woke up this morning that this was like a live radio. So 30 minutes before I was like, oh shit, this is going to be exciting. So thank you.
I thought I explained that.
Oh, you're good. It's my bad. I've been doing so many of these, man, and this has been such a pleasure. It's been so different, and I really enjoyed it. So thanks a lot, guys.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
All right, see you. All right, take it easy, guys.
Let's go back to this format here. Oh, a couple of really very good guests today, right? So things are improving here. Except tomorrow and Friday are going to be train wrecks. You know what we got on tomorrow? A landscaper.
Does he play in a band while he's doing it?
No.
He's
a landscaper. He's an entrepreneur landscaper guy. And then on Friday, we have a franchise guy. Here's the thing.
You can tell people no.
I know. I think I actually invited them.
Why?
I don't know.
In what
I was trying to figure that out last night. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? No, I don't want to. I've already dissed them badly enough here just in saying this. But last night I was thinking about this. Like, what the hell was I thinking when I said? I don't know if I missed something or I was under the franchise thing. I'm kind of interested in.
So I have an idea.
Well, it's going to be short.
I think we need to create a slideshow of different celebrities' houses landscaping, and ask him to either tell us what a price would be or what tools he would use.
See,
I'm not sure what's wrong with that people. Ask him what's wrong with the people, because the landscaping will tell you about the person. If they're whether or not they're nitpicky or they just.
I'm just trying to find a way to connect it to comedy or showbiz or something.
See, I'm not sure that he's even in that level of landscaping.
Did you hire a grass cutter?
Hold on, I'm gonna find out right now. But I think what his thing is entrepreneurial businesses for landscaping. He wants to sell you a landscaping business for you to go out and be a landscaper. Not that he wants to come.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see.
You do, but I don't understand what the fuck I was thinking when I like what
that old age, man. It's getting to you.
I keep thinking, like, where did these people get my Calendly link from? Maybe I didn't invite him. Yeah, no, he's not from Podmatch. Where the fuck did I get this guy from? Not from a publicist. Tomorrow,
probably somebody who was like, Templo de Maestros, Templo de Maestros, cheap viewers on blah blah blah. Maybe you got him through them.
Here he is, Brian Clayton, CEO and co-founder of Green Pal. Brian Clayton is the co-founder of CEO of Green Pal, an online marketplace that connects homeowners with local lawn care professionals.
So Angie's List? Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean.
You don't have to try. It's natural.
Unoriginal app idea, and he cuts grass. This is going to be the interview of the year.
We'll probably we'll try to have some yucks with him, but if it's not going funny, if there's no laughs in it,
just put the news on.
I can tell when Steven starts fidgeting up in it. Like, that the audience is probably doing that at home.
Yeah,
and so if I see that, I'm going to end it pretty quickly. But don't be shy about saying, this guy's fucking boring my balls off. Let's get rid of him.
Oh, no, I will absolutely, yeah. Because I'm already there, and I haven't met him. I'm sure he's a great, nice guy, but I feel like he should be going to HGTV, not Mind Dog TV.
I don't know where I got him from, but and then the other guy on Friday is going to be a franchise guy too. So it's just like, all right,
franchise of what?
Here's the thing. Maybe this is how these guys got to the link, because if you go to minddogtv.com/booking, you'll find the scheduling link. I used to have a business edition that I did at 1 p.m. every day, and it made money. The reason I did it was to talk about, and it was a very boring, as it sounds, cut and dry white toast type of show, but it made big money. It made enough that made more than my job at the time, because I was still working in the corporate world. It made me big money. I just got so bored with it that I had to just stop it. But maybe these people are still remnants from when I did a business edition, and they're just finding me that way.
Well, shit lives forever on the internet, and they could have literally just seen it for the first time.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Coming up on Mind Dog, how to cut your grass and open a McDonald's.
Right. Well, mowing your lawn could be. It has some innuendo there. The guy across the street, I don't know if I ever told you guys this. The guy across the street from me mows his lawn every day, from sun up till sundown. Every day. The same lawn every day. He's out there, not gardening, not doing all sorts of landscaping. He's mowing his lawn from the time the sun comes up.
That sounds like somebody who doesn't want to be in the house with whoever's in the house.
Yeah, that's what a woman who I know, she said he's avoiding whatever's going on in the house.
Maybe he's gay.
Maybe he's gay.
He's trying to avoid his wife so he doesn't have to divorce her and come out.
I can't wait till you come out of the closet either.
Matt,
because the gayness didn't come.
Here's the thing. Okay, hold on.
Doesn't factor into it.
Here's the thing. I'm not a closeted gay man. I am just very comfortable in my own sexuality that it doesn't bother me. It just does it.
Right. I think you
Matt, Matt, where I used to live, I had a neighbor who could not stand if his lawn was longer than mine. And so whenever I if he cut his grass on Wednesday and I cut mine on Thursday or Friday, because that's when I got around to it, on Saturday, he was cutting his grass again because mine was shorter. And I used to say to my wife, I said, watch, I'm going to fuck with the neighbor and I'm going to cut the grass again on Saturday. And sure enough, he'd be cutting his grass so that his would not be longer than mine. And I would fuck with my neighbor, and I was just cutting my grass every fucking chance just to fuck with him because he couldn't take it.
The guy across the street, his lawn doesn't look any better than mine. For all the time he puts into it, you would hope it would look great, right? It would like a Beverly Hills lawn or something.
But you got grazers. You have all kinds of animals coming in to graze your lawn and eat the weeds and stuff. He doesn't have that.
You got that Snow White lawn package, bro.
That's the backyard. They don't go to the front yard.
Oh, wow. Are they trained to not go into the front yard?
Well, the chickens came to the front yard for the first time the other day. The turkeys do go to the front yard, but they're generally passing through. The turkeys are just like going.
You've got to stop smoking with the neighborhood animals, man.
Because the cats go to both doors. Your cats.
Cats go to front door and back door, but they don't go out in the yard in the front yard. They will go out in the yard in the back. The backyard is there. They feel like they own my backyard, but they don't. I've never seen a cat on my front lawn. Never. They just don't.
Now, do you still have just the one cat hotel, or have you broken down and bought more cat hotels?
They don't use it. I would break down and buy others. I feel like it's a waste of money. Like we should bring it in for the indoor cats. Maybe they'd have some fun with it. The outdoor cats don't care.
Have you tried boxes? Have you tried just putting boxes?
They would love boxes.
Yeah, and waterproof them. Waterproof the boxes and put them out there because cat loves boxes.
They want to be homeless people in New York.
Give them little boxes and shopping carts.
I live in a box.
little tight shopping carts and boxes.
What you need to do is train these cats to wear a sign and carry a little bucket so they can go out and collect you money on the street corners.
Right. Well,
or shoot videos and monetize them that way.
Ron, do you before we say goodbye, do you want to accuse anybody of wearing lingerie before we go?
No, they know who they are. So.
Well, let's check the chat room and see. I haven't checked the chat. Oh yes, we have some lingerie wearers in the chat room.
Oh, Ron, I need a headshot of you. A high res headshot.
Okay.
As long as we've been together, as many friends as we've been together, friendly.
What?
I don't have a headshot of you.
I just want to say to people on the other platforms, if you want Ron to accuse you of wearing lingerie, you have to come on like either YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or wherever we can see. Like if you're on Instagram or if you're on the Gov network, we're not going to see your comments. So Ron can't accuse you of wearing lingerie. So if you want Ron to accuse you of wearing lingerie.
Well, my favorite was the racist statement yesterday when I was embarrassing to white people. Like, yeah.
Who said that?
Mike did.
Mike did.
Embarrassing to white people.
Yeah. So
wow, that is a racist.
Thank you for stating the type of person you are, Mike. We appreciate that.
And if you're looking to fight me, also you have to jump into YouTube or Facebook and challenge me.
You guys have to
at a level space with no steps.
You have to find.
If you want to tell me to fuck off, you can do it anywhere because it has the same reaction.
I think he's come around to you. I think that Mike, he kind of. If he had to pick one of the three of you, what happened? GD ran away.
He said I could tell him to fuck off whenever, so I did.
Oh, you put him out?
Yeah, I said fuck
We're
off.
gonna have to take that privilege away from you if you keep playing with that. Yeah.
You know, my parents used to tell me the same thing.
Yeah. If you keep playing with that, I'm gonna take away that privilege. Yeah. Or you're gonna go blind. If you keep playing with that, you're gonna go blind. I'm gonna take
your legs are gonna stop working.
They didn't tell me that because they didn't want me ending up like Helen Keller. So
yeah.
And if you don't stop masturbating, you're gonna be crippled. You're gonna be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life.
Oh, dude, if that was actually the thing, I wouldn't have arms left either.
Are you done now with your shows in Michigan, or you got more going on?
Nope. Today's an off day, and then tomorrow, Friday and Saturday. Yeah, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. Yep.
Now, what about that creepy Grizzly Adams guy you're sleeping with over there? Is he a comedian, or is he?
He is a booker, producer, comedian, and friend.
And driver.
I applied for your show, and the only good thing I put was that I'm not a fucking landscaper. So hopefully, we'll see you soon.
Now, why has he not been on the show, Steven? He's funnier than you.
Well, yeah, I know.
If you're not a landscaper, who does your beard? If you're not a landscaper, who does your beard? Because
this is all
that is literally just pussy juice. That is all that I do for this.
That
we
is
really,
amazing.
You talk about replacing people. We should replace Steven with him, even just because we need a bearded hire.
Now, is your beard as soft as it looks?
Oh yeah.
Because I know Ron's wife was talking to this one guy, and I went and hugged her, and I told him, I said, "I'll shake your hand, but I'm not hugging you because I don't know you." And he goes, "Oh, come on in here and hug me." And he had like the softest fucking beard.
Oh yeah,
it's like I don't know why more people aren't hugging him.
That wasn't my beard. That was my pubic hair. But thank you.
But yeah. So yeah, no, three more shows this week, and that's the reason.
And then he slowly kissed my forehead.
That wasn't my forehead, but thank you.
He is funnier than me, but that's why I'm up here. He's been giving me some pointers. We've been writing. I wrote a whole new set yesterday that I tried for the first time, so he's just helping me just get better and learn.
Now, Steven, just so you know, it's okay if he gives you pointers, but if he offers you tips, he's probably talking about his penis.
Yeah.
No, we discussed that. Tips aren't allowed. It's the whole thing or not at all.
Thursday, okay. I'm hitting him with some GHB, and we're gonna have a really good time.
All right, so we'll wrap this up here. It's time to now. It's time to. We haven't done showbiz all week. I don't know if we have any coming.
Yeah, we did. We do it because he talked about Phil
2 days
Donahue.
ago, or yesterday. Yeah. It was yesterday.
That was Monday, no? Or
was
whatever.
it Monday?
I don't know.
And also, Ron is going to have to talk about little John, who
I'm losing track of days. What do we got here?
Are we doing the fucking showbiz news or not?
No.
Okay.
Not today. We're out of time. We're out of time, and I don't know why we're out of time, because we could keep going all day long without Knock 'em Dead being on Govs. But I have things to do. I have.
It's all about you.
Hey, listen.
I have
Matt
work.
has to get to the early bird dinner. Okay, he's got to be home by 6 to be in bed by 8. So cut him some slack. Jeez. So not fair.
I have work to do that benefits you guys, not me. I'm going to be dead. The problem is all the work I'm doing, and people don't appreciate this. This is not an act of selfishness for me. There is nothing I can get out of this except maybe a few people coming to my memorial when they throw the ashes up and say, "Hey, he's a good guy." But that's all I can possibly get.
Nobody's going to say that part, so nobody's going to say, "Yeah, he's a good guy."
No, I've got somebody already paid off to do that. I'm not going to be able.
I'm going to leave tread marks on your grave.
No grave. No grave.
That's why I'm being cremated. Nobody's going to piss on my grave.
No grave. No grave. Why do you need a place for people to go and say, you don't need a place for that. People could do that wherever they want.
Can I?
Yes,
I don't
you
think
can.
I can't. Never mind. I can't do it from this.
What do you mean? Do what?
I was gonna share a video that you reminded me of because of the cremation thing, but I'll bring it tomorrow.
All right. Well, thanks for warning us. All right. So that's the show today. If you're upset about Ron just over talking, we'll try to do something about that. I mean, he is what he is. We're not going to change his personality at this point, but it's like
it's true. He's too fucking old now.
Yeah, too fucking old. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can't.
You can't teach an old cane new tricks. That's
so right. Tomorrow, now the landscaping guy isn't the only person we have on. I think we also have like somebody who changes lug nuts.
Jesus Christ! So you hired you brought out a tire mechanic and a grass cutter. Did you just go to Walmart and find 2 people and like, hey man, I need some guests on my show?
Went down to Lowe's.
Yeah,
went down to Lowe's and said, "Excuse me, you want to be on a podcast? Hop in the back of my truck. Hop in the back of my truck."
I honestly don't know. I'm just trying to see.
Tune in next week as he brings in a barber and a nail stylist.
Oh no, she's an author of dystopian, young adult dystopian novels. Now, why would you? This is so that won't be it won't be as excruciating as a landscape.
Reading dystopian novels, because first of all, I don't even know what dystopian means. So how do they know what it means?
Well, we don't want. That's exactly my point here. You don't want to fill young people's. You don't want them ending up like me, somebody who has no hope and somebody who's a complete pessimist and a really curmudgeon on everything without hope for the. We don't want to encourage that in young people. We want them to be hopeful. This is why we got Kamala Harris and Tim Walz trying to give people a brighter outlook on the future rather than.
I disagree.
You want people to be depressed and anxious and.
Well, yeah, because then they'll come to comedy shows to cheer up. But listen, what I'm saying is I don't think that this type of material is going to make them hopeless. I think if anything, it's like, hey, we should probably pay attention because that's what we're heading to.
No, this believe it or not, I'm not gonna. I think they get aroused by the fact that the world is going to hell. And just listen, because we're not really bound by the clock here. I just want to put this out there. There is a conspiracy, not a conspiracy theory, a theory of thoughts that in 2015 we went through some kind of fucking universal change in the just in the air. They're talking about the Higgs boson thing, the God particle, when they broke the speed of light and all that kind of stuff, and divided the Higgs boson and all that kind of stuff. That the world just turned upside down. If you look at how fucking crazy everything is, we have. And even as recent as 2015, that's 9 years ago, you would have not have thought of the political discourse in America be talking about fucking couches, dick sizes, all these kinds of things. We've gone in totally insane and off the walls in every aspect of the world. And you could not have. You could have gotten the greatest fiction writer in the world and could not have come up with the America that we're facing today. So I think there's something to, I don't know, there was a shift in the polarity of this universe that just made us all fucking retarded. Hello. Who's calling?
Matt, this is Alex Jones.
Yeah.
I wanted to let you know you were half right about that, okay? When the reptilians decided to use that giant machine that they call an experiment, it's really a Stargate to bring the gay reptilians over, okay? But hear me out, okay? When we discovered the Higgs boson, we went into an alternate reality. We built a new universe, okay? That's what happened.
Okay.
Now,
do you sell product in that new universe?
Yes, Alpha Brain is available right now. All universes, everywhere.
Now,
could they have the same prices? Do they have the same prices, or is there like an exchange rate?
Well, they don't have inflation; they have shrinkflation, so it's cheaper.
Well, I'm not talking about penises. I was talking about their product.
I'm pleading the fifth.
Well, when GD talks about inflation, he's basically thinking about his sex dolls, his fuck dolls that he has, but he has to inflate them. But I just want to know, how many lozenges do you go through with that voice?
73.
That's right.
Is that per diem or per weekum?
That's per diem. Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the Future with the deep state propaganda. Exactly. All right. Now that I've gotten that off my chest, one last thing here. The Joe Rogan thing that I sent you guys didn't even watch that thing, did you? It was a sarcastic critique, a mockery of Joe Rogan talking about how he
no, because once I realized it was Joe Rogan, I tuned out.
Oh, it's funny as hell though. This guy he does it like he's giving a real like it's supposed to be flattering, but it's totally it's just like making fun of Rogan the whole.
Okay,
I watched some of it, but it was like close to 40 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't watch the whole 40 minutes. I mean, just enough to get a flavor of, this guy is fucking undressing Rogan in classic style here. There have been people, I know, who watched the whole fucking thing and said it was hysterical. I don't have the patience. I can't even watch this show for 40 minutes. I tuned out 2.5 hours ago. Anyway, we'll end it here. We'll try back now. I've given you fair warning. Please don't be shy about fucking saying this is fucking boring me. I don't mind hurting a guest's feelings even if I did invite them here.
Oh, you're talking about tomorrow's show?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know me. I tend to avoid conflict, so I won't say anything.
There is nothing wrong with conflict. Conflict leads to resolution.
No, I thought conflict led to like wars, like Vietnam, South and North.
It could, but at the end of the war, there is resolution.
Yeah, the resolution.
I'm not saying we need to keep escalating the conflict. I think if we can reach a resolution before it gets to that point where we're killing everybody. Oh, we're boring, Chabot. Let's stay on for a while then.
Well, Michael would be a little more entertained if it was a pool boy instead of a lawn guy, but you know.
Actually, a house cleaning service, which is what he does.
He's amazing.
And if there's too much conflict, a little lube will help with that.
I just want to say part of what Mike does. He runs a business called Miracle Cleaners, and they go to your house and while you're at work, they'll clean your house, but they are also going through your lingerie drawers to see what they can.
Are they trying it
Especially
on?
The dirty ones. That's the ones they want.
Yeah.
Are they trying on the lingerie or just looking at them?
Listen,
it depends who you ask, because Mike only takes the period stage.
I applied for a job there. I was rejected, so I don't know. But that was my intent, to just try them on.
That's because you kept trying to smoke the grass, not cut it.
No, this is housekeeping.
Oh, it was housekeeping. That's right.
Yeah.
I get it all confused.
I was trying to smoke the lingerie, not wear it.
Oh, well, yeah, you know what? If you rub it fast enough, it will go up and smoke.
All right. Get out of my room. All of you guys, get out of my room. Get out of my room. Get out of my room. You're back in my room. Yeah, what should I do? What should I do? I just don't know what to do. I want to tell you all to tune in tomorrow, but honestly, I have mixed feelings about telling you what to tune in tomorrow. You might see something unusual and different tomorrow if you tune in. You might see a little bit of rudeness. Like, I don't know, when have we ever been rude? Comedians who are funnier than Segura. Now, get out of town. You're a bum.
Who's funnier than Segura this week? I'm sorry, I heard that, and I wanted to know.
Somebody say Segura.
Yeah,
Jackie was funnier than Segura. Now with that Patty Davis Reagan story, wasn't exactly as funny as it was a funny joke, but he kept saying it was like the funniest joke they ever heard. It wasn't. But
maybe it's funny because of the pictures. Maybe it's one of those you had to be there.
Ron's hemorrhoid cream is the only thing that's not blurred out in that picture. Everything else. I found the actual episode last night, and I was listening to it. It doesn't match up to Jackie's portrayal of the episode the next day or the next Monday because he said Robin was the one who said he did it again. Howard was the one who found the article and was like ripping Jackie apart. He was concerned that his name was attached to it, that every time, and that's a legitimate point. Like if because Jackie went out and in the Post article it said Howard Stern's flunky Jackie Martling did this and was harassing people with this joke. If you listen to it, but the bottom line is the story, memories. I'm sure Jackie remembers it that way, but the episode did not go exactly the way. Like people weren't calling in and said they want to hear the joke. Howard asked, "We need to." Oh no, Baba Booey asked, "We need to hear the joke."
Baba Booey.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know why I went on there. Well, thanks for coming back. I was just about to push the button for the dopey song, and you guys came back. You know what? I don't need you.
Which is it? The Papusa Tuck song, or is it the
other one?
Play the Jackalope song.
I don't have it loaded up. Mike says, by the way, we are one of the largest cleaning lingerie companies on Long Island.
Wait, hold on. So does that mean you clean lingerie, you only clean large lingerie, or you clean in lingerie?
You're getting to it's like you caught GD-itis or something.
Yeah, what you're thinking of, it depends on the paying level because there's different services. So the answer is all three, but they're different price points.
Yeah, see, listen, I know you still have your whole life in front of you. You're a fairly young man, but I just want to tell you, do not emulate GD Fenderson because this will end your career pretty quickly, and then you'll just be like doing plausible shows for fucking people in your basement and shit.
Well, I would emulate GD, but I enjoy not being scared.
Things are going better for you now than they've ever gone for him. That's all I'm saying. He's never been to Michigan. Well, no, he's been to Michigan.
Yeah,
he performed there, and he's not welcome back. That's the point.
That's not true. I'm sure Zank would have any of you guys on.
No, all along, I know you've seen road signs saying "Where is GD Fenderson?" all along. It's time. I'm sorry. Let's just fucking end this thing. You guys don't even have to
hurt my feelings for the last fucking time.
Wow. He'll be back. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow.
I will not be back. Stop saying that.
All right. He won't be back. He's not on.
That's right. I'm not coming back. I'm gone for good.
Don't you want he wants to come back because first of all, he needs to know about this lawn cutting opportunity.
Damn it, you nailed me back in. Every time I think I'm out, you drag me back
in. Pull him back in, right.
You had to pull me back
in.
He also needs to be here to learn what dystopia means. So we have all that to look forward to tomorrow.
Damn it.
Thanks for coming. Enjoy your Wednesday. Don't hump anybody. I think we had two really good guests today, and that was the highlight of the week. So take that for what it's worth. Get out. Bye for now.